Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nintendo Prime Podcast. This is episode 49. You know what's funny about this episode, Eric?
What?
We have some people that are like, hey, are you going to do a special celebration for episode 50?
I don't know. I was kind of thinking that too.
No. It's going to be really weird. This is going to be a strange podcast in terms of when we celebrate like anniversaries and stuff. Because one, we don't remember when we first started.
Yeah. So
I have to figure out that date so we know when it's been. Like, oh, how long have we been doing this? Has it been a year, 2 years, 3 years? We have no idea.
Yeah.
Two, we're going to be celebrating anniversaries when we started doing it weekly, which means like our anniversary podcast for doing it every single week for a year straight is going to be like 73 or 70.
Yeah, right.
Some weird number that makes no sense. But hey, you know what? I guess that makes this podcast unique. Anyways, Darren is back again. Hello, Darren.
Back again. How's it going?
Yes. A lot of you guys, I don't know if Darren read the comments, but a lot of people are happy that you're on.
Hey, I read like one comment. I haven't read any others. Thank you.
A lot of people said you're the yin to our yang.
Whoa. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, you help balance things out, and for some reason they said Eric talks more when you're here. I apparently
that's
need to
always
listen.
good.
I need to listen
we always
to some
need
old,
more Eric talking.
Right?
Yeah.
I need to listen to some old podcasts to see if that's actually true. It probably is. It probably is. Plus, you're not afraid to cut me off, so that helps.
Yeah.
Or just keep talking while I'm talking. See, back in the day at Zelda Informer, we were like,
works.
oh, wait, he's editor-in-chief. I better stop. Here he's like, it's just Nate.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, now I don't care. Dave's talking. Who needs to hear him talk?
Yeah, right.
All right. And then we also have one of our patrons from our $20 Patreon tier, a special person, close to my heart, Mr. B. Righteous.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
Awesome stuff. Glad to have you on. I think this is the first podcast you've been on, right? You've been supporting for a couple months.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's right. We tried to get you on last month, but I think you were just working or something was going on.
Every day, all day.
Every day, all day. That's how it goes. So we're just going to hop right into the first topic. I think I'm glad that we're doing this topic in this podcast because I've already had a couple of videos on this come out. We're going to be talking about Nintendo Labo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's Labo.
Yeah. You gonna do the topic rundown first?
No. Here's the thing. This week. So we really only have two set topics, right? So normally we would do the topic rundown, but because we don't have our usual 4 or 5, we're just gonna let it flow and see
or
what
18.
happens. Yeah, we're just gonna let it see what happens. I'm hoping that this isn't another 3-hour podcast, but you know,
hey, you never know.
People actually
depends on the conversation.
Well, the people that listen to
on how long the ending segment lasts, which is always the best.
No, it is. A lot of people actually like the ending segment in this last one, so I don't know why. Apparently, everyone says the most interesting conversations happen when you're done talking about Nintendo.
It's true.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Nintendo Labo. I like that we're talking about it now because we're actually going to have a few-day break between talking about it because this podcast is going to release on the channel on Monday, Sunday audio version for our Patreon backers. By the way, if you'd like to get this early, patreon.com/NintendoPrime, $5 a month. Get it early, $20 a month. You get invited on the podcast. You're not guaranteed to be on, but now I am. I actually made a change this month where I'm putting out a public post to our $20 backers on Patreon saying, hey, look, here's the days we're recording, the times. You guys let me know if you can make any of these times. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if you end up not wanting to support at the $20 tier because you can't make it, I totally understand. But that at least we're being more transparent. In the past, I was individually messaging people and it just became really messy keeping track of, wait, who was going to come on this week? Who said they couldn't come on? Who said they were cool with it? Who was mad about it? I don't know why they'd be mad about it because, I mean, the tier very clearly says you're just going to be invited. You know, if you can't make it, that's not really our fault. You know, we try to make it work. But because we have such a break between talking about Nintendo Labo on the channel and when this comes out, it feels nice because I've actually been spending 2 straight days talking about Nintendo Labo, and I'm tired of talking about it, even though it's the only thing that's on my brain. So I am going to let someone else. We all know what this is, right? We all at least watched the trailer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure we didn't have anyone that's like, I've never heard of this.
What is this?
I don't know how you can be on the internet and not, especially like if you're a YouTube, like it was hit number 2 on trending.
Yeah.
So maybe hit number 1 at one point. I don't know. It was number 2 earlier today. So let's have Darren start off here. Nintendo Labo. What's your initial response to this?
Labo. I don't know. I started watching the video, and obviously Nintendo prefaced this with, "Hey, we made this with kids in mind," which I'm like, "Oh, cool. That's cool." I wonder if I'll like it or if I'll just be meh. And I'm just meh. You know, I mean, I started watching it. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Come on. Who's going to want this? And then I started watching more of it. I'm like, you know what? That's actually pretty cool. Now, as whether I'm going to get it, I really have no intentions of pre-ordering it. Maybe when it's out and I see more of it, maybe. But it doesn't look like something that interests me too much. Now, I have seen a lot of people on Twitter, parents, saying, you know, I showed the trailer to my kid and they went bananas for it. They're like, oh, can I have it? You know, can you get it for me? When does it come out? So that's always nice. And there's a lot of adults that are into it too, which is cool. I mean, it definitely looks like a lot of fun. Not something I'd personally be into, but it's definitely something out there and innovative and wacky. Stays true to the Nintendo legacy. Kind of harkens back to the Wii era of using their platform to do unexpected things, which is definitely welcome. Just not for me personally, but I'm sure a lot of other people, kids especially, will appreciate this, and it will become sort of a phenomenon. I mean, it's amazing. You know, you can make a piano. You can make a piano out of the Joy-Cons, and the IR camera makes that possible. I mean, that's the first real major achievement of the IR camera so far that's included on the Joy-Con for the Switch is this Nintendo Labo monstrosity. So I think that's pretty cool. Like I said before, not into it personally, but it's great to see Nintendo is thinking outside the box with these things. So, and I know some people are mad. You know, they're like, oh, what is this, man? Nintendo's not giving us anything as far as good games right now, so they're giving us cardboard. Like, what is this? But no, it's I can see the appeal of it. I mean, and like Nintendo said, it's especially for kids. Nintendo's doing a great job of breaking up their announcements, I feel, for the correct audiences. Like, this very well could have been in the mini direct, but it wasn't. It was saved as an announcement for a later date. Now it gets its own spotlight. You know, it could have been overshadowed in the mini direct, so to say. So I'm glad it's getting its own little announcement. I feel like it's getting more respect that way as a standalone announcement for kids.
I also think that the standalone announcement, not just that it's getting more respect and more individual attention, but it also separates it out from the target audience. That mini direct wasn't for the people that are playing Nintendo Labo. That mini direct was for Nintendo fans and core gamers. I mean, think about the games I talked about. Dark Souls.
Definitely for kids.
Yeah, definitely for kids.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure, you could argue Mario Tennis Aces is, but this is Mario Tennis Aces with a single-player campaign, which is going to appeal to people who grew up playing Mario Tennis on Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. You know, they're adding DLC to Mario Odyssey, DLC to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. You know, porting over Tropical Freeze and porting over whatever the other game was from that they were porting over from Wii U. Hyrule Warriors. Like, all of that was targeted at people who are Nintendo fans and people who already own Switch and people who are core gamers that are looking at, okay, what's coming to this platform this year that I should look forward to. And we could argue the merits of whether or not there was enough in that direct. We did that last week. But they decided, you know what, we're going to separate out Nintendo Labo from that because it's not the right audience for it. If they had put that in there or capped it with that or kicked it off with that, it would have felt, it might have almost felt a little bit like Nintendo Land back at the E3 before Wii U came out, where it's like, wait a second, why is Nintendo doing a complete 360 on their entire messaging on this platform?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, they could have packed it in there, be like, oh, you know, this direct might be a little short announcements. Let's throw in Nintendo Labo.
And they didn't even put it in a direct at all. It wasn't even a direct. They said, hey, they put out an announcement saying, hey, we're going to announce something that's for children and children at heart later today. And then they just drop a trailer. Mm-hmm. No, not calling it a direct, not trying to associate it with the core audience of the system. Clearly, hey, look, we're trying to expand the audience of the system. We didn't forget about you core gamers. At E3, we're still going to be satisfying you core gamers. There's rumors about a full Nintendo Direct coming out in February, which is probably going to be targeted, again, at the core audience of Switch. But they're still trying to expand that audience. And Nintendo Labo is just a really interesting product to me. Pricey.
Yeah.
The price is I don't mind the price of the kits since it comes with the software. I have to see what the cardboard costs on its own.
Mm-hmm.
When you need to buy extra sets, because originally there was reported there was going to be stencils and you can make your own, and obviously if you're crafty enough you can still take the cardboard you have and make your own.
Yeah, that report was from IGN France, and then they later corrected themselves.
Yeah, basically the website of Nintendo of France said that they would be providing it for free, and then the website updated, and we heard it from IGN France because IGN translated their own report, so it was the first English report we saw. So yeah, you can't get it for free. That doesn't mean you can't like buy the kit and then look at the pieces and cut out your own in cardboard. Obviously, people who are
be tutorials online.
Yeah,
too.
people are gonna figure out how to do it without having to buy the kits. But the kits are gonna be the easiest way to do it, the most consistent way to follow the instructions.
Honestly, it's you pop out the cardboard, you lay it on another piece of cardboard, you trace it, and you call it good.
Well, you have to figure out where the bends are and stuff like that. But that's the thing. Like, it can be done. It's not something that people aren't going to figure out. But still, I think a majority of the audience that's going to buy Nintendo Labo isn't going to do that. They're going to be looking at, okay, now how do I get extra cardboard? Because Nintendo said they're going to sell extra cardboard. They will even offer replacement if you happen to break one in your kit.
Then you don't want to tape it back together.
Which happens. Well, yeah, Nintendo even said, hey, if you break it, you can tape it and glue it. Like, of course you can. It's cardboard. Like, duh, we all know you can repair cardboard a little bit to a point.
My only fear with this is, hey, let's make this cardboard contraption, stick this $300 system, family system, into this contraption, and then let our kid run loose with this cardboard thing with this $300 system in it and see what happens.
Well,
that just seems like a recipe for disaster.
Well, from what we've seen, because the robot thing's not a worry. The system's docked while it's happening. It's just the Joy-Cons. But the variety pack, there really isn't anything going on in there where kids actually pick up the system. Everything just kind of sits on a table. The only time they pick it up is, I think, for the RC cars. Mm-hmm. But then they're holding it in their hands, and they're just as likely to drop it then as they were playing the thing anyways.
I like how Nate didn't want to talk about this.
Well, no, I have a lot of it. No. Well, here's the thing. I'm a parent, right? Like, this is supposed to be targeted at me and my children. Like, I am the target audience for this product. It feels weird saying that because I'm a big Nintendo fan, I'm a core gamer, blah, blah, blah. But I'm a parent raising 3 children. I have 2 of them with 2DSs now, trying to get them into the Nintendo life. It's really cool. Like, it's astonishing to me since I know, like Darren knows, how much I'm just not into Pokemon right now. And here my daughter is just loving Ultra Sun. She's like asking me for help. I can't. I don't know what's going on.
It's like my little cousins. I got them into Pokemon, and their father, who's a big Nintendo fan, does not like Pokemon or Mario Kart.
Well, I don't. It's not that I dislike Pokemon.
Right.
I'm buying Pokemon on Switch. But yeah, it's just interesting because I am literally the target audience for this. My kids don't have their own Switch, so they're only going to play it through my Switch. They would rather play with me. Well, this is what's cool about my kids is that they'd rather play with me and or watch me play Switch than play their own 2DSs because they have more fun. Not just because they're playing with me, but because they know Daddy's got the better system. They know. They've seen Mario Kart on 2DS and then Mario Kart on the big screen TV. They know what's up.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I mean, before I get into any more, because I've talked so much about this already. Be Righteous, you got anything you want to add to that?
Absolutely. First things first, I'm really excited about it. I think that it's really innovative for me. The college that I work at, I work close with the music department, and a lot of those guys and gals, they do a lot of what's called experimental music. And basically, long story short, they'll take, for example, like the Nintendo Labo, they'll take cardboard or wood or whatever other object, whatever have you, and amalgamate it together with physical instruments and actually make music that way. And I think that this method of actually incorporating stuff like a camera or steering wheel, gas pedal, even a toy robot car, etc.
There's also a kick drum shown at one point.
Also, which one?
There was also like a kick drum thing
Yeah, kick drum too. Yeah, I'm looking at that on my phone right now. Yeah. A little kick drum too. I think that's going to be awesome for people that love drums. Shotgun and fly stick, etc. Those things are really cool because you can be creative and make that things together. So it's definitely a day one purchase for me, even if I just get it just to bring it to my office and I can show them, hey, look, y'all, look what I got here. Most people come to my office anyway on breaks anyway to play the Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
So it's very fun, very, very fun where I work. So I'm really going to dig it. I think that it's a good idea for those that are outside of just a core audience. I think that Nintendo has done a really good job of telling the average consumer, okay, this is for the core gamer. This is for the gamer that likes this genre or whatever the case may be. Before in the Wii U era, it was so hard to even describe, okay, what is this title for? Like, what is the system going to do? And that's one thing Nintendo, I believe, has nailed, for the past year since March of 2017 when it released. Everything that they video, everything they come out with, it tells you exactly what this is, what this game is, or what this product is, and it just works. So I'm really, really impressed with that.
Yeah, obviously I have to have it in my hands to see how well it works, right? Because I understand how the piano works with the IR camera and the reflective tape. I get it. It's just hard for me to wrap my mind around that the camera is good enough to make that work. They were playing chords on it. I'm like, it's good enough for that? Okay, well, because here's the thing. When they put the IR camera on there, I initially thought that it was just they had some idea in the back room and it just fell through and they just kept it on there. And then we saw its use in 1-2 Switch when you eat the sandwich in the one mini game. Opening and closing your mouth.
Favorite.
And that didn't always register very well. You had to do it very specifically. If you could figure out, if you practice that minigame enough, you'll destroy anyone at it because there's a very specific thing, way to do it that the camera actually registers it. But the fact that it was that finicky, even that minigame, I'm like, okay, this isn't that good of it. This is what they put on the Wii pointer, right? It's just the IR camera sensor thing. It's nothing that special. I don't know why it's there. Maybe they're gonna let you flip it around and use it a pointer on the screen someday for some game or something. I don't know. And then all of a sudden you're seeing that a lot of these projects work because of the camera, and it's like, okay, that camera's a little bit more advanced than I realized. And its inclusion, they clearly had this Nintendo Labo idea before Switch came out. They had to have. It looks like the Joy-Cons at this point look like they were literally designed for Nintendo Labo. All this talk about HD Rumble, no. The most impressive thing I've seen with HD Rumble now is RC cars. That is awesome. Yeah. Basic Rumble won't be able to do that because it only rumbles at one part of the controller. Yeah. But because this thing can rumble the entire controller, you can make it turn. You can make it go forward. You can maybe even make it go backwards. I might want to probably because you can do rumble on the back and rumble on the front. So yeah, that's crazy to me. It feels like the Joy-Cons now. They're all the little technology thrown into it. The HD Rumble, the camera. How small they are. Everything starts to make sense now that Nintendo Labo is coming out because this is what they made the Joy-Cons for, but they never told us because they knew if they did, it would create a bad reputation for Switch at the time. They'd be like, oh, they're going gimmicky again. Oh, they're no. Instead, they ever said, no, you can take them off, play 2-player with it, you can slide into this thing, have a standard controller. They got us to buy into all the other ways to use it before they're like, but here's what we really designed it for.
Right.
And to me, that's brilliant. I think that's why Nintendo waited till after the first holiday period to even announce it. Because they're like, look, we can't have this. We can't announce this in the first year Switch is out. Like in the first, 2017. You just can't do it when we're targeting Breath of the Wild and Skyrim and Mario Odyssey and Splatoon. We're trying to get people to buy into this system as what Nintendo fans should want, what core gamers should want. Even if you own another platform, you can take AAA games on the go. We want that to be the defined. I talked about all last year. The Switch's target audience was young adults to, maybe even slightly older adults, probably age demographic-wise, 16 to 35-ish, I felt like is where they targeted. All of the commercials featuring college kids and stuff like that. And that's all great and dandy, and Nintendo nailed that. And then you get videos. I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a video that released where someone went through YouTube and compiled all of the reaction videos from children getting Switch. Trying to kick it back to the old N64 kid days.
Cool.
And all these children, ages the same age as my daughter or a little bit younger, she's 7, just freaking out when they get Switch.
Yeah.
just freaking out. And I argued last year that kids were going to want this because adults want it. And because adults want it, it makes it look cool. Kids always want what's cool, right? They don't want iPhones. And like my daughter, she doesn't want an iPhone or a smartphone because her friends might have one. She wants it because mom and dad have one, and she thinks it looks cool. Just like when kids used to fake smoking on the playground when they're 5 because their parents are smoking, so they think it's cool. They pick up a stick or they pick up those candy cigarette things, and they sit on the swings and they're like, oh yeah, look how cool I am smoking, just like my mom. Like kids are doing what their parents do or what they see other adults do, or college kids or even teenagers, because it looks cool to them. They want to fit in, and that's why I always thought children were going to want Switch because adults want it. And now children and adults are really going to want it because Nintendo Labo to me looks like a teaching tool. This looks like something actual schools could pick up, probably, hopefully at a discount. You know, if they get it in bulk and get enough of all that stuff in, maybe directly from Nintendo's warehouses themselves. And
honestly, it could spark an interest in engineering.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. The first thing I thought of when I got this is I wish my 2-year-old son was older. Because he is a kid that will sit down with my dad, his grandpa, and watch that, the How Things Work show.
How It's Made.
How It's Made, yeah. So he'll sit down and he'll just be fascinated by that show. He has no idea what's going on. All he knows is at the end there was a candy bar, and all this stuff happened to get there. And
it's a neat show.
And like when my grandpa's usually the one doing bigger projects, so like when he's over there and he's doing a project of hanging sheetrock or working on something on a computer, or even when I'm here doing stuff in my office or setting up audio in here and he's awake, he's like just watching intently. He doesn't get in the way. He just sits there and stares. He's like trying to figure out what's going on that's causing this to happen and do all this cool stuff. Like, oh, Dad did this, and now all the lights are on in the room. How did he do that? Oh, he turned these dials and now he recorded something and now he's playing it through the computer and it sounds like Dad. How did he do that? He's all amazed by this stuff, and I wish he was older because this is perfect for him. This is, hey, we're going to make a piano, but you're going to make it with me, and you're going to see how this works. Because I think he, of all my children, have the best shot at potentially being an engineer just based on he's going to be that kid that's tearing apart his radio at age 6, trying to figure out how it works. I did that when I was younger, and then I realized, it's not that exciting.
Yeah. And then try to put it back together, and you're like,
Dad, can you fix this for me? Yeah, next day they just buy me a new one.
Yeah, right. Look, I fixed it.
No, my dad the next day he said, "Oh, fine. You want to tinker with one? Fine. I bought you the one where you wrap the string around a rock, stick it in a potato, and there's your radio. The old Cub Scout radios. It works. You just there's no volume control. Yeah. It only works at certain parts of the day. Whatever. It was still really cool, and I feel like this is. I guess my excitement for it is that. I mean, my older kids saw the trailer. Melody especially. She had to watch it twice because Eric was watching it today. And as soon as she saw it, she's 7, and my oldest son is 4. But immediately, as soon as he started playing it, they had to come watch it because they're like, "This is awesome. We want to do it," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of course, I told Melody the first thing she wants to do is build the piano, and I'm like, "But Melody, just so you know, according to Nintendo, it takes 2 hours to build it. Do you actually have the patience to sit down with Dad for 2 hours working on this project? Because you get frustrated when you can't spell a word correctly." And she's like, "Well, you're just going to do all the work, Dad." I'm like, probably, because I'm a kid at heart. Yeah. I'll probably end up wanting to do most of it. But I'm going to want you to try and learn. Like,
nobody ever said she was dumb.
Or I'm just going to do it all, and you're just going to play and have fun with it, right? Yeah. And you're going to be the one that breaks it, and Dad's got to fix it. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah, it's... to me, I think it's just a brilliant idea, obviously. The pricing's a little off to me, but I don't mind the kit prices so much because I feel like the reason it's so expensive is the software. They're paying for the software.
Right.
But we need to see how much the cardboard costs on its own because they have to sell extra cardboard kits. And when we see what that costs, it'll be interesting. I heard what gives me hope that the cardboard kits are like, $20 or $10, is that there's a third kit, the decoration kit, whatever it's called. That's where you have to get the stickers and the colors and all the stuff to decorate it like they showed. Obviously, you can just use your own stuff for that. But that's where you get like the Mario eyes and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's only $10. And that's not that bad. So if that's only $10, I can't imagine the cardboard being more than 20. And cardboard's really, really cheap. So you say even 20 sounds expensive. But I'm like, yeah, but it's purposeful cardboard, right? You're not just buying a box, right? You're buying cardboard that's pre-cut and ready to go to make these amazing creations. And I know some parents out there have even said, well, yeah, but it's not going to last. I'm like, okay, let me tell you something. You could buy your kid the most expensive toy in the world. It's not going to last.
Right.
Go ahead and buy them that iPhone. Tell me in 3 months how it's doing. It's like kids break these toys no matter what they're made out of.
Yeah.
Okay, I have 3 children. I can't tell you how many toys they've broken. Stuff way more expensive than this. At least when it's just this, it's just some cardboard. Go buy some more. It's cheap and simple to replace. Yeah, you have to put it together, but that's part of the fun, right? To like when I was more into this than my kids are. I was into Legos growing up, huge.
Oh yeah,
sit down for hours. I could still do it. Sit down for hours, and I love Legos. That's what this is.
Yeah, same.
It's like the new kind of Lego, except there's engineering in it that actually does something at the end. It's not, you don't just look at it at the end.
Right.
So more like, I guess, the Lego robotics set. I guess more like that. I remember even Legos. I used to have an engine one where like you'd make a car, and then at the end it's an actual remote control car, which is really cool. I don't know. I just kind of view it like that, where it's a great educational tool. It's a great way to get children into potentially engineering. You're going to find out in a hurry. If you buy a Nintendo Labo, your kid's either going to be really, really into it and want to know how everything works, or they're not going to be at all. And then you know right then, oh, your kid's not an engineer, that's for sure. Because they don't give a crap how things work. They just want it. They just want the final product.
Right.
And then when they get mad when they realize it's just a bunch of paper and cardboard, and that they could just, why didn't you buy me the electric piano? It's so much better.
A lot more keys.
Well, and another thing I like about it too, for youth purposes, is that we're in a day and age now where pretty much every kid who is in a family that can afford it has some sort of electronic device, whether it's a tablet or whether they use their parents' tablet or old phones. Whether they have hand-me-down DSs and 2DSs or whatever the case may be. Or maybe they're allowed to play on the TV or they're just consuming TV. They're always doing something with electronics, something with a screen. And if they're not doing it at home, parents, I don't know if you know this, they're doing it at school.
Yeah.
My daughter goes to a public school right now. Like in her grade, there's a class they have every day where everyone's using a tablet. That's just the way it is. I don't know if that's the way it is at the private schools because they probably can't afford the tablets. But we were using computers back then. We were using Mac computers when I was growing up. Like your kids are being introduced to technology at a very young age, whether you're doing it or the school is. So it's good to find a way to take something they're probably interested in already in terms of the Switch and doing something hands-on with it. I talked about this in my video that I made about it, reporting on it. To me, this is almost like the opposite of VR. VR, you're going into a digital world where everything's fake. Here, you're taking that world and kind of putting part of it in reality, where you're building your fishing pole. You're not just in a world fishing. Right. You're building your piano. You're not just in a world where you're playing a fake piano. I just think that's incredibly intuitive of Nintendo. And someone said this on another podcast. I forget which one. It might have been Easy Allies. Nintendo's the only company that can get away with this. If Sony had tried doing this, it'd be so out of their zone. They probably would not be able to market it correctly, and all the Sony fans would be laughing at it. Nintendo, they do it. There's like 140,000 likes to 15,000 dislikes on the trailer. Like, it's by and large a massive positive reaction. But no other company could pull this off, except maybe, you could argue maybe some other toy company like Hasbro or something. Something out there. But even then, it won't get this kind of attention because it's not attached to this massively popular product right now.
For sure.
In Switch. Eric, what did you think? You just discovered it today. Cardboard toys.
Yeah, right. Toy cons.
Or some people, toy cons, or some people were calling it, instead of giving us plastic accessories like we did during the Wii era, we're just getting a bunch of cardboard accessories.
Yeah. I like the idea of it. I think it's a brilliant idea to actually get hands-on experience of building stuff.
Arts and
crafts. It takes their face out of the screen for a while.
Yes.
So that part's...
They're only looking at the screen for the instructions.
Right. And that part's awesome because, kids nowadays, like you said, are constantly on a screen. Which, let's face it, so am I.
Well, the thing is, like, we are, but even, like, growing up, we played a lot of video games. We had our Game Boys.
Right.
We had our video games at TVs, but we still played outside.
Right. For sure.
Did a lot I feel like I was a lot more active at age 7 doing a heck of a lot more stuff than my daughter is.
Yeah,
and that's part of the me. I'm the parent, right?
Yeah, right. Everything revolves around a screen.
Social
nowadays.
media wasn't even a thing back then.
Right, exactly. You wanted social media, you went outside, talked to social media.
You want this video podcast? There was no platform to put it on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like I said, you wanted social media. You went outside, talked to your friends.
People.
Yeah, right.
You, whatever, Darren.
Yeah,
you millennial, you.
Whatever, Darren. Shut up.
So yeah, brilliant idea. The whole cardboard thing is kind of like, but I get it.
Well, I get it from multiple. Like the one facet is obviously kids are going to break it and they're going to need more.
Yeah.
So Nintendo just created a constant need to buy more stuff.
Right.
So,
it's also bendable. So I mean,
well, it's easier for kids to work with. I mean, you got to like, you're going to give them hard metal. Like erector sets aren't really much of a thing anymore because kids were hurting themselves on the metal.
No.
You know, even like the wood burning stuff you can do. Like that's more for you have to be like almost a teenager before you can even do that.
No, for sure.
So I think the thing is like the target group is from 6 to 12. I feel like, and
and I mean the only other thing I could think of would be a prefabbed plastic thing. But again, it's
you know what I also thought was funny. There were some people out there that were saying all I could think about is how many trees are going to be cut down to support this thing, and I'm just like, yeah, because like they should have made it out of plastic instead. They should have made it out of plastic instead. You're going to attempt to be an environmentalist and worry about the trees, and you're going to say it should be made out of plastic.
My brain hurts.
Do you know how bad? I don't think people realize. Like, I know plastic is everywhere in our life. No, do you realize how bad it is? Well, we can recycle cardboard.
Yeah. What do you think cardboard's probably? What do you think the cardboard's probably made out of?
And most paper and most cardboard are made now on tree farms. So we're recycling our own trees,
or made from old recycled. Cardboard.
Or that's
cardboard.
Recycled. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either completely recycled or it's from tree farms.
Yeah.
We actually have tree farms, just like we have cow farms and everything else, where we're no longer chopping down the rainforest to get this stuff. We're chopping down the rainforest for wood to build houses. I mean, that's just the way it is right now. That's paper and cardboard are no longer a threat to the environment, and they're biodegradable if people do throw them out.
Right.
That's kind of the big thing is like, yeah, even if they don't recycle it, it's biodegradable.
Right.
If people don't recycle their plastic, it's so biodegradable. Let me tell you, there is biodegradable plastic.
Yeah, there is.
But they usually don't put that in toys because why? It's fragile. It doesn't last.
Yeah.
It would have the same issue cardboard does.
For sure.
Obviously, like I said, the big thing is how much is cardboard going to cost. Are they ever going to release an ability, even if they don't give a stencil kit for free, can you buy a stencil kit at least and use your own cardboard? Like we have a ton of cardboard in my garage. I would love to see if I could use some of that for this stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, just talking about it and thinking about it more through this podcast, how unique it is.
Well, and there's like unlimited possibilities.
You know, maybe
sure.
I do want it now. Like,
I mean, well, like there's unlimited possibilities. If you just go out there and look at cardboard art or intricate cardboard things, like people have recreated cell phones out of cardboard. There's people who have literally replaced their entire computer case with cardboard, and you're like, that's really dangerous. Think of how hot things run. Not if you use engineering and you think about it and you set it up correctly. This is what this teaches you. It's not going that in depth with the heat, obviously, but it's still one of those, like, this is what it's teaching you. It's a how to, like, you can use cardboard for a lot of different things that people just don't think about using it for. They just throw it in the recycling or throw it in the trash, and it's just for packaging. I mean, this is, and here's what's funny. Investors clearly agree.
Yeah, right. It's got to be a brilliant idea then with this.
From the moment it was announced, Nintendo stock went up over 2%, and their company value went up over $1.4 billion just from this announcement. So obviously, analysts widely agree that this is going to blow up, and they're only projecting like 1 or 2 million in sales. I think it's going to go higher than that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think once they start getting out there and people start seeing them in actual action, I think that'll help drive the.
Well, in the trailer, we saw things like, I talked about before. There was a gun that you reload. They kind of quickly glossed over that one. Yeah. Of course, targeting kids. You don't really show guns. Yeah. But they also showed like a camera where you can adjust the lens. Like none of this is included in the variety pack or the robot pack. So, that means that they have future packs planned. And they even encourage people, hey, take what we give you and make something brand new out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that means like this excites me just, as a kind of a partial programmer over here where they could have a simplistic programming thing on there where you could program your own actions with the Joy-Cons and stuff, or like, oh, when you sense a light strip, like do this.
Yeah.
On the screen or whatever. Like to me, there's almost unlimited possibilities here, and there's going to be more of these kits and more Toy-Cons releasing over the rest of this year and over the coming years. If this thing really takes off a couple million, maybe at launch.
Yeah, right.
If they just keep bringing out more and more kits and kids are getting really into this, and especially if this hits in schools.
Right.
If this hits in schools, this isn't going to be like the fidget spinner craze. This is going to be the kind of thing that you might start seeing in woodshop class and any art class. Like, this is something that, oh man, now our school should, we invest in iPads. Switches are cheaper than that. Let's get some switches up in here and start using them for educational purposes. And that happened with the Wii as well. And even the DS, some public libraries are using the DS to help people navigate through libraries because they can be huge. Mm-hmm. That was obviously before the smartphone thing came along. Not everyone can just use an app. But I think this is totally Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they announced it at the right time, and they did it in the right way, despite what some naysayers might have to say. Anytime I say there's a naysayer for Nintendo Labo, I'm just like, it's okay, the product's not for you.
Yeah, right, exactly.
If you're a naysayer, that's fine. They're not trying to sell this to you.
Mm-hmm. They even said it is for kids.
It's like, oh, if you're a naysayer, okay, are you a 6-year-old kid? No, okay, so you're not the target audience. Yeah, right. No one cares what you say about this product. And I know there are some parents that say, well, I'm not going to get it for my kids because I can get better toys for cheaper. And that's probably true, I guess. Better being subjective.
Right.
Because as the one parent messaged me and said, look, I know you're going to get it for your kids, but I suggest you don't. It's overpriced. And you can get better toys for cheap. Here's some link. And they gave me look, here's an electric piano you can get for $30. I'm like, yes, but does it teach my kid how to build one?
Right.
Where's the engineering involved? This is just them bashing on some keys and making some noise. I already got that in my head.
Right. It's called pots and pans.
I think this is where some parents are just, when they're put off by the price, kind of like, you got to remember, these are basically engineering kits.
Right.
So it's just like Legos. You're paying for the ability for your child to use their creativity, use their imagination, and learn how things work.
Right. You're also paying for the Lego name, but that
So
it is what it is.
Well, to be fair, like I had some parents. I don't buy my kids Legos, so they're so expensive. Well, I understand they're really expensive, especially they've always been
actual
expensive.
Lego brand.
The
Legos.
actual Lego brand. But here's the thing: I will say this for the Lego brand. At least they last like forever.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, true.
I have all my dad's Legos from the '80s. My kids have all my Legos from the '80s, or my dad's Legos from the '80s, and all mine from the '90s. Yeah. And they're gonna add on to theirs now from the 2000s.
Right.
Like by the time their grandkids have Legos, they're gonna have like a mansion of Legos because they just last.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The only reason that some of them are broken is because I've been getting my kids into derby cars where you smash them together. But even then, most of the Legos survive. So it's like,
yeah.
Probably the ones breaking are probably from the early '80s.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, let's move on to the next topic then.
Before we move on, I would like to point out smoking is not cool, kids.
No.
Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Now we can go on to the second topic.
In the comment section of the podcast, I read someone randomly just said, I want to see you guys vape live.
Yeah. I don't get that.
I saw that too.
I don't know.
I don't get that. I understand I think it's because people who, maybe it's someone who vapes, but like it's heavily frowned upon where they are. So like they want to see more online personalities just do it on camera to make them feel better about it or something. Or they just, the target audience of our channel isn't children anyways. Most of our audience is over the age of 18, but we do still have some kids who watch. And it's like, I'm not going to say that, tell them not to vape, but I just don't vape. So why would I make myself do something that I don't do? It's like, let me just bust out a cigarette in the middle of the stream too. I don't smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the complaint is. I do shots of alcohol all the time on live stream. So, like, I obviously am already doing something I don't want the youth to be doing, but that's because I do that myself normally. Like, I don't just normally sit down while I'm working and just start chugging shots all the time, unless it's a live stream. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm an adult. It's okay. But, yeah, that's weird. Like, don't request, like, weird stuff like that of us. It's not going to happen.
No.
If it's not something we already do. You want to request that Eric and I the entire time let our guests talk and we just sit here and play Switch the whole time?
And
just, yep, okay, cool. Next topic here. Darren, what you doing next time? Okay, cool. As we're sitting here playing NBA 2K against each other or something.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds
speaking
good to
of
me.
Switch, since we've been talking about this whole time, this next topic is insane. This news kind of broke right before we were doing the podcast. I haven't even got a video up on it yet. Hopefully, I will soon.
Have I even heard of this yet? Then
Yeah, I don't know. So we heard before that Switch was the best-selling home console in United States history. Also became the fastest-selling. It beat not fastest-selling console, but it beat out Wii in Germany. It also beat out Wii in Japan in terms of being fastest-selling over the first 10 months. And it sold 4.8 million units or whatever in the United States by the end of 2017.
And it's actually now the fastest-selling home console in Canada as well.
Yes.
So-
That was another news update too.
Yeah.
in a 9-month period, right?
10 months.
Something along the lines.
10 months.
Yeah, 9,
Okay.
10 months, something in that area.
10-month period. It's basically launched through the end of 2017. Is basically what they're counting. But now, the recent MPD report update, Nintendo didn't talk about this. This was actually pointed out by an analyst who has access to the MPD reports and did the math himself. This is impressive. The Switch is not just the best-selling home console in the first 10 months in the history. It is the best-selling console, period, in United States history in the first 10 months on the market. That means not a single handheld console, not a single home console. It's in uncharted waters. Nothing has sold faster than the Switch, video game-wise, in video game hardware-wise, I should say, in its first 10 months.
That is insane.
Here's
Awesome.
his exact quote. On a time-aligned basis through the first 10 months. So he's talking about literally counting up the days where it's 10 months on the dot for each platform to ever come out.
Is this an analyst we would know, or is it just some random dude in the
Matt
company?
Piscatella.
Okay.
I know of him. I don't know if you do. So he says, on a time-aligned basis through the first 10 months. Again, this means he actually went through and counted out 10 months. This is why Nintendo probably didn't do it, because it's really close. But Nintendo didn't count out the exact days with all the other platforms, because why do they care? But yeah, so he went through and actually counted up and did exact data of first 10 months. Nintendo Switch has sold more consoles than any other platform in history. What's happening with this platform?
It's the
crazy.
best of all.
I mean, I know
honestly
it's just the
crazy.
first 10 months. I understand that maybe momentum's going to slow down here in January, and that maybe there's nothing major. I don't know. Nintendo Labo might move a bunch of units for all I know in a few months.
Yeah.
We talked last week, why is the Switch succeeding when the Wii U failed? I think we need to change the conversation. Why is the Switch doing better than every other video game platform that's ever released? Why?
Why is the Switch doing everything it does? Honestly, I mean, this console is succeeding expectations everywhere, breaking records no one thought it would break, and it's just honestly insane. I mean, this news blows my mind.
I mean, we're talking about the United
States. It makes me think, where
you know?
can the Switch go from here? I mean, yeah, sales are going to drop off, but how much longer will it continue?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't really know. I mean, they're going to drop off in December. It sold 1.5 million. That's holiday. It's not going to sell that in January. Nothing does that in January. But
Yeah, obviously.
so January is the drop off for everyone, including us here. Like, our ad revenue tanks in January. That's just the way it is. Everything's on reset after the holidays. But man, like be righteous over there, dude. Like, what is Switch doing right that apparently no other console in the history of mankind has done?
Well, it all goes back to marketing once again. I mean, Nintendo has marketed the Switch very well. Back in, I believe, October when it was first revealed, and you saw the guy with his dog in the living room playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, on the Switch. I remember seeing the video, and at the time, I was like, okay, cool, this is Zelda or whatever. I saw that Link riding on the horse.
Yeah.
But then the man sat up there and put the Joy-Cons in the console, and took it out, and I was like, okay. At that point, I was sold. I didn't care about anything else that they were talking about, even though it was cool to see the rest of the video and all the different stuff that was coming out. But that's what sold it for me.
What, rooftop parties didn't do it for you?
I was saying I wasn't worried about watching anything else in the video, even though I watched it. But that's what sold it for me. The fact that he was able to put the Joy-Cons into the console and then take it out, and then instantaneously it just went right from the TV to the tablet.
No.
And that's what sold it for me.
Walked his dang dog and played Breath of the Wild.
Right.
Like what? Listen, like the thing is, like I've walked dogs before. I've had dogs. Like I didn't even think about taking my 3DS or my DS out while I do it. But then I'm like, oh, but I could just be playing a game. My dog needs to go outside. I can go out with him and just keep playing. Because I always hated that with my dog. Oh, he's got to go potty. I got to go stand out there and wait for him to go in the... No, just take the system with me.
Yeah.
Of course, then again, I might lose track of my dog, but whatever. That's a different concern.
Right. I mean, it's just like with, when I play, because I have all platforms, but, with the other guys, when I play PlayStation or Xbox or on my PC or whatever have you, I have to literally stop the game or pause it or whatever, and then go out, do whatever I have to do, and then come back to it. But with the Switch, it's just, I can bring it anywhere. Now, there are some titles that I believe over time they'll get better as far as visual is concerned on the pad. One thing that wish that was a little bit better was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I love to play that game on docked, but I wish that it looked better as far as visual wise on the in the handheld mode, because I just hate that that degrade from looking at it 1080p or wherever the frame rate is all the way down to the tablet mode. That's my only gripe as far as the first party Nintendo title is concerned. But a lot of the third parties, like for example, like I love playing Doom. Love to play Doom on the Nintendo Switch. It doesn't matter if it's in handheld mode, if it's docked, whatever have you. I can play it. It's really, really fun. Also, too, I haven't. This is really sad, y'all. Okay, but I've never played Skyrim before, and I recently picked up Skyrim. And
same here.
By playing Skyrim for the first time on the Nintendo Switch, I was amazed at. I'm like, okay, I cannot believe the fact that this gigantic open world game is in this little tiny console. And I know that they put Skyrim, everywhere on every platform forever for like the past 50 years. I'm joking, but
it feels
I'm
just
so
it.
impressed, exactly. But I'm just so impressed about what they've done. Another thing too is when it comes to third parties, I know that the big indie scene on the Switch. That was another thing that Nintendo showcased. Well, I forget the gentleman's name, but there was I think it was an indie direct a couple of months ago last year. And it was so funny because you were talking about some...
probably Nindies at Night.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that was it. It was so funny in the video. He was talking about something, yes, everybody, this is my final form. And he just kind of just stood there at the camera, just let it just sink in. I was thinking like, okay, yeah, this is a Dragon Ball Z reference. But anyway, it was so good how they incorporated all of the titles in that long, I think it was a 30 or 40-minute presentation, but it hit every genre that you could think of. And that's what I think that another appeal of the Switch is that I consider independent developers, to me personally, just as good as the big AAA guys. They do an awesome job of what they do. And I think with the Switch, they have a good platform to sell their games on. The only complaint that I've had as far as all games released on the Switch so far is it's really just two. The first number one culprit being WWE 2K18. I think that game is absolute trash. I think it's very, very, very sad that they've would even release something like that. I would have had it waited. It doesn't matter even if it had come out this year or something.
Yeah, I
know it's not in the same calendar year, but still.
Especially coming off of NBA 2K18, which was way better.
Exactly. I mean,
NBA 2K18 made you feel like, okay, if they can do the NBA right, then they got WWE, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a big wrestling fan, y'all. Like I live in Louisiana, and I've been to WrestleMania 30 when it came there.
Oh,
and
nice.
I've always picked up it's awesome, dude. And I've picked up, the games ever since way back when SmackDown versus Raw. Like I have all of the games way back then. And when I saw that the Switch version was coming out, when I saw Seth Rollins on the commercial that Nintendo put out, now you think back about it, they never showed any footage of it.
Of course,
Seth was just basically looking into the camera and saying, and he had the physical Switch in his hand, but he never turned it around or anything. So,
no over the shoulder shots of gameplay. I know, and even if I did, it probably would have just been doctored anyways. Because it's funny, the entire thing you talked about in October when they revealed the Switch, all of that was not necessarily running on Switch. That was all doctored.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo, admitted that after the fact, it's really, really normal in a commercial setting for footage to be doctored and be running on PCs and blah, blah, blah. Like, this happens. Even at E3, you always have to be careful. Am I really playing on the system or not? Because a lot of things are, like, actually running on a PC that's hidden. But with Switch, you can't really lie now if you can undock it. You can't lie.
Right.
They don't let you undock it. Something's up.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to say, well, we just haven't perfected handheld mode yet. And I'm going to be like, I don't know if you've perfected dock mode yet.
Yeah,
Let's be real here. If I can't pick the Switch up and use it, I'm sorry. Don't have your game here.
Well, it's probably going to be more of.
I think before in some of the videos that you made, Nate, in the past couple months, you talked about how the target should be, whatever it is in the dock mode. But then from there, there's also the portable aspect of it too. But I think probably what happened, at least with WWE 2K18, was they tried to port over the Xbox or the PlayStation or the PC version directly to the Switch, and they never optimized it. And that's why you have such terrible frame rates and bad animations and everything. And they recently came out with a patch for it, and I downloaded the patch. I went ahead and played it. I was like, it's still broken. You know what? I ain't worried about it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I have
they'll have it fixed
discount.
like in summer.
Yeah.
Right. I had my 10% discount from Walmart. I bought it at it was like $25 or whatever. I'm like, whatever. That's money that I'm not even going to even worry about losing. But I think that, just getting back to what I was saying before, I think that the Nintendo Switch has done an awesome job. Well, Nintendo themselves have done an awesome job selling the Switch to the average consumer. Because I know that this past holiday season, working at my Walmart, I've had a lot of people come in asking what the Switch is and how Nintendo's kiosk is set up in the retail store. It's so simple. You have one with the actual Joy-Con grip. Then you have one with the Joy-Con split, and you can play Mario Odyssey. You can play Zelda. I believe you can play Splatoon 2. I think they have a demo of that now as well. So that's 3 first-party Nintendo titles, and they have a couple other ones too. And you can see everybody from young to old, and mostly it's the people that's in my demographic from about 25 to 35 playing it. And you have some of the younger generation too. Even I remember working a couple years back when the 3DS first came out of Walmart. No one ever gravitated to it like that. It was mostly just kids. But now you have everybody going to that system, and it's so easy to pick up and play. Most people, I didn't even have to answer once they played it. I would say like 2 minutes. They're like, okay, I'm good. I'll tell you if I want to get it. And 9 times out of 10, they got it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Darren, let me change this around a little bit because. It's hard to argue with any of the points you said on why this is like one of the most successful systems of all time at this point. Where does Switch currently rank for you in terms of your favorite platforms?
In terms of my favorite platform, honestly, I would have to say the Switch is my favorite gaming console of all time.
Oh! Did not see that coming. I actually didn't see that one coming.
What did you think it was going to be, Nate?
I don't know. Something that has more Zelda games on it?
Yeah, I don't know, but Breath of the Wild, man, that's the best Zelda game of all time.
Well, on 3DS, you have Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Triforce Heroes, Link Between Worlds. Am I missing one? I feel like I'm missing one.
And only get to play Breath of the Wild for the rest of my life,
it's Breath of the Wild. Wait, Breath of the Wild's on Wii U. Hyrule Warriors, Twilight Princess HD, the win. Hey, you played Twilight Princess?
I can't play Doom and Skyrim on my Wii U, can I?
No, but you can't play Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker HD on your Switch either. But you can play Breath of the Wild on it.
Concerns me why.
Because you just said Breath of the Wild. Well, you just said Breath of the Wild, and I just said, well, Breath of the Wild's on Wii U.
No, I'm joking. I like Wind Waker. But
I was going to say, didn't you first play Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on that platform?
Yeah, definitely. And I enjoyed them. But I like the games on Switch more. And the fact that I can take it anywhere with me. Breath of the Wild is the best Zelda game of all time, in my opinion. And the fact that I can take that, Doom, Skyrim, Mario Odyssey, and whatever future Switch titles Nintendo has on the go, and whatever third-party support pops up, is just the best case scenario for me as far as gaming-wise. I'd say before I bought my Switch, I thought I would play it solely in docked mode. But right now, it's really 50-50 docked and handheld, which is something I enjoy because I take it with me a lot of places. So it definitely is my favorite gaming console of all time. Just
Nice.
the grade A games that are out there for it, first party and third party, and just the the wonder of what's to come.
Sure.
It feels great to be a Nintendo fan now. 2 years ago, I would have said, man, it sucks to be a Nintendo fan now. Everyone's crapping on the Wii U.
Yeah.
There's no games out. Well, what's going on? Now, I feel like a rock star. It's like, yeah, I'm playing on the Switch. Everyone loves the Switch, man. Come on. So, yeah.
Well, I will say,
it's amazing.
I mentioned this in a video, I think, before. It is a great... If I haven't mentioned it, I'm going to have to make a video about this. It is a great time to be a Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
Maybe the greatest time since the NES days. Because in the NES days, everyone wanted a Nintendo. It was the cool thing. It was the cool thing to do. The gaming industry crashed. NES was the only thing that was relevant. Saved everything. By the time NES came around, there was also the Genesis. There was basically a consistent, solid competition ever since SNES and on. Game Boy was always still like the cool thing to own for a while, but then Game Gear came along, and there's been competitors over the years.
Game Gear.
None of them have lasted, but there has at least been competitors. But like NES was okay, cool. That's the cool thing to have. Everyone should have an NES. You get to Switch, and it kind of has that feeling all over again. Because like Wii is the most popular home console they've ever sold, but it wasn't necessarily something where like you were a Nintendo fan, a Nintendo gamer, and you're like proud to be like, yeah, I'm an owner of a Wii, like everybody else in the world. Because they all bought it for Wii Sports, but I bought it for Twilight Princess. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because most of the people didn't buy it for Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
So like, that's why right now as a Nintendo fan, it's kind of like, yeah, everyone kind of bought Switch for the same reasons. Because they wanted to play Zelda, or they wanted to play Mario, or they wanted to play Doom, or they wanted to play Skyrim, or they wanted to play LA Noire, or they wanted to play all these games and have the ability
for me,
on the TV and on the
Switch
go.
Because I'm a Nintendo fan.
Well, sure,
I'm going to buy the new Nintendo console to play the new Nintendo games, no matter how crappy they are.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a fan.
We both went through the Wii U era. So
yeah, definitely. I was a proud Wii U owner. I was a proud 3DS owner. I owned both systems, and I loved both systems, still do. And I bought the Switch because it was Nintendo, but at the same time now, if I wasn't a Nintendo fan and I saw the system, I'd be like, I need this now. And that's why I think it's so successful, because people who aren't Nintendo fans are buying it. People who are Nintendo fans are buying it, making headlines, breaking records. It's just a recipe for success, and honestly, it blows my mind.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that the difference between the Nintendo Switch and the Wii U selling is that then also going back to the Wii, was that when Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out, it released alongside of the Wii U version. Just like Twilight Princess, when it came out, it released alongside GameCube as well. But what helped Wii sell that initial copies, I believe, was the fact that Zelda was the launch title. Same thing with Breath of the Wild being the launch title for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, no doubt.
And a lot of people, was like, oh, well, that's just a Zelda machine. You have nothing else to play. But I beg to differ. Like, I mean, you had, aside from 1-2 Switch, because that's its own little conversation. But you had, I believe, you had strong launch titles for the system. I'm a really big JRPG fan. And I had never played I Am Setsuna before. And then playing I Am Setsuna recently I should have got it at launch, but I waited for it to go on sale. So when I played I Am Setsuna on the Nintendo Switch, I was like, wow, this game came out on PlayStation, but here it is on this little console that I can take on the go with me. And I think that's really, really fun. And that was also a lot of the launch title. Then you had, in the same window, you had Master Blaster Zero. I believe you had, trying to think, you had Shovel Knight, Treasure Trove, where you had like all the Shovel Knight games. So that's, just a couple of those titles that really helped to sell the system past just being the Zelda machine.
Yeah, and I think it was a month later Mario Kart 8 came out.
Yes, that is correct. Mario Kart 8 came out in March. So, I'm sorry, April. Because the Switch released in March. So, I mean, Nintendo nailed it. I mean, they had their strategy, they had their plan. Even with the new IP like ARMS, I know many people, ARMS is kind of like, it's its own community of people. I still have the game. I don't play it right now actively because I have other stuff that interests me, but I still have my copy of it. And I think it's fun to play if you're with friends or something like that. I really have to kind of dig into the game to get the mechanics of it better again. But anyway, Splatoon 2 like blew it up for me. Like I picked up a second Switch just to get the Splatoon 2 bundle because I had to have those Joy-Cons. I had to have it. So the neon green and the neon pink Joy-Cons.
Nice.
You know, so it's for anybody that really wants to branch out from the norm and have a better gameplay experience. I would highly recommend the Nintendo Switch. It's the console that I think is past just supplementing it from the other platforms. I think it can be your main one if you're willing to, you know, be patient a little bit and wait for the ports to come out. Let the developers have time to make the good ports and everything. But it has a solid lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric,
yeah,
Switch is an interesting prospect for you.
Yeah.
Because you hadn't really been buying video game systems.
Did Eric get a Switch? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh yeah,
he was with me day one.
Because I knew he talked about it, but I didn't know if he actually did.
If you could see the look in his eyes when he played Breath of the Wild at E3 2016, you would know that whatever platform that is on, he's buying.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't really want to own a Wii U and it's on its way out, so why the hell not Switch?
Right.
So yeah. I because we've talked about this before in the podcast. I'm like, why did you pick it up? I'm like, have you seen Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, right.
Have you seen Breath of the Wild? Again, have you seen Breath of the Wild?
Right.
That's why I bought a Switch.
And it's now also, have you seen Mario Odyssey? Have you seen this game? Have you seen that game?
But obviously, you've always been in a unique perspective here. Like, we're talking to Darren. Like me, he's bought every Nintendo system that's ever existed, basically, since he's been able to buy them. You know,
the last Nintendo system that I had was
3DS.
3DS, but the console-wise was a 64.
64, yeah.
Yep.
So you skipped so you skipped the GameCube, Wii, and Wii U generation.
Oh, no, sorry. I guess we did have a Wii. The family had a Wii.
Yeah, family Wii. Well,
the family had a Wii.
Every family had a Wii.
I mean, I guess it was a family 64 too, but you know,
whatever. No one played Wii U.
I forgot about the Wii.
Yeah. I probably played more on there than someone. Maybe more than your sister. I don't know. Your sister played a lot.
My sister has it right now. So
yeah, she played a lot on
there. She loved Mario Galaxy.
So, anyways, so the point I was trying to make, is that you're not necessarily someone who just buys a Nintendo product because it's Nintendo,
right?
You know, I wouldn't call you like a Nintendo fanboy kind of thing,
right?
Or like a huge Nintendo fan. You like Nintendo games, you grew up with them, but it's not, you know, something where you got to have it. Breath of the Wild was probably the first time you felt like you got to have it in a long time with a Nintendo product and a Nintendo game, even.
Right.
Very few games do that for you. At least have. Since Switch came out, I'm actually curious. How many games have given you that feeling of I got to have it since Switch came out?
Well, Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That was the second it was announced. I knew I was sold. Done.
That game's so good.
Period.
I love that game. I might actually like it more than Odyssey, to be honest. Darren, I know Darren's not the biggest fan.
Love it.
Darren, did you buy a physical copy?
I did. Yep.
You want to send it to me if you don't like it?
Why? Do you want one?
I had to sell my physical copy for gas money, and I just haven't bought a new one, and now there's new DLC coming. So yeah, I kind of want. This would be like, hey Darren, can you just please give me your copy of the game? Yeah. I know you don't like it. You're not going to play the DLC.
I might actually. I've been thinking about it.
All right.
Half of it.
I'd rather you give the game a second chance than give it to me.
I feel bad because I played through 50% of it, and I made a resolution to play games all the way through. And this one is like.
Well, you're going to be in trouble then. How many games come out on Switch like every day?
That's great, but yeah, I haven't been buying as many games as I have in the past because I buy them and then I play them and I don't finish them.
Yeah.
So I really want to finish Rabbids. And then this new DLC, I like Donkey Kong, so I might jump in there and see what happens. But like I said, like as obvious by my earlier, I didn't enjoy Mario vs. Rabbids Kingdom Battle as much as I thought I would.
Right.
Sure. Well, okay. And I'm sorry. No, go on. What were you gonna say?
No, I even though I don't own it yet, ukulele, because just because of the whole Banjo-Kazooie thing. I absolutely loved Banjo-Kazooie. So,
Yeah.
It's one of those things I just haven't had time to buy it yet.
Well,
so
when I finish with playing it, maybe I'll just let you borrow my Switch for a couple of days when I don't need it, and then you could at least try it out and see if, if it makes you want to buy it.
Yeah.
So you know.
Oh no, I'm sure
you're going to.
Even if I buy it, then I'm highly doubting I won't like it.
Well, I'm just saying, like if you play, it might just turn into one of those. Okay, yeah, I need it.
Yeah,
kind of things. Or okay,
it's just I haven't had time to buy it yet, so it's more of that than I don't want to buy it.
But anyways, I bring it up just because, as I said, you're not someone that I would call a Nintendo fan. Your parents then got you Xbox, and you kind of went to the Xbox line, Halo, and all that stuff, and you really enjoyed that stuff as well. And like that, this is why I always say like all the fan console war stuff is always stupid.
Right?
They all have good games.
Yeah,
they all appeal to different people, and that's okay. I own Xboxes, and I have a PlayStation 3 still upstairs. I don't really
that
play
I magically got torqued.
Don't really play it. It works. It's also something that I'm afraid will start my house on fire, but it works. Primarily still have it though because it still plays Blu-rays.
Right.
So there is that. But I bring it all up because I'm actually curious. Like I asked Darren this question. I'm going to ask you like, where does Switch rank for you in terms of your systems right now? All the systems you've played throughout your life.
Right. Oh, it's number one. It is.
By far?
No.
N64?
No. It's not by far. The NES and 64 are right there.
Okay.
But I think that's more nostalgia reasons. But Switch is number one.
Welcome to the club, Eric.
For sure.
So you say that. Darren says the same thing. I'm gonna put a pump a brake on this for a moment. Okay. Yeah. I think Switch could be my favorite platform ever.
Yeah.
Could.
Yeah.
But it's only been out for 10 months. And I can think of a zillion platforms I played way more games on than Switch because they've had a full life cycle already.
Right.
So, like, to me, Super Nintendo is my favorite platform of all time. Nothing's even come close because, Genesis, you could argue, maybe came close as well.
Right.
But a lot of the same games all crossover except for Nintendo IP versus Sega IP.
Right.
But like that was like my favorite era of gaming just because the two major platforms in Genesis and SNES got every multi-platform game. Got every first-party game. Got everything. There was no compromises. You own a SNES, you didn't feel like you were compromising anything but not having Sonic games and stuff like that.
It basically came down, do you like Mario or do you like Sonic?
Yeah, basically. I mean, there was other games too, but like those were it was a literal war back then, and Nintendo and Sega had no problem participating in that war. Their advertising went after each other hard, but it was still one of those situations where that was the perfect storm for a system for me. Every Nintendo game I could possibly ever want, and everything like what I want to happen with Switch already happened on SNES. It got everything.
Yeah.
There wasn't a game it didn't get, besides exclusives.
Right.
So, I look at Switch as, that's what I want Switch to become. It's not there yet. I'm still not playing Madden on this platform.
Right.
I'm still not playing most brand new AAA games. I'm getting a lot of indie games. That's good. I love indie games. They're great. I think they should be viewed at times, sometimes, even above the level of a AAA game. I think Yooka-Laylee, whether or not you think it's a great game or not, you could argue it's on par with some prior 3D Mario games in terms of just the quality of the development of the game. Not necessarily, I'm not saying the game is as good, but it's just kind of, it's a game that has the ambition to be as good. And I'll give you even a better example than that. What is that? Senua's Sacrifice. That game was made by people who are completely independent now, former AAA developers. That game, you can't tell me is not on par with AAA games. I know you call it B tier all you want. That's a AAA game. It's funny. It's a AAA game made on a B tier budget. That's kind of the way they advertised it.
Yeah.
But they were trying to prove that you don't need to sink hundreds of millions of dollars to make an amazing game like that.
Yeah.
You just need really, really good ideas and really good people who know what they're doing. And they proved it. So I look at the Switch as it has the potential to be everything I want because it's portable, it's home console, it's take everything with me or play it on my big screen or play it on multiple big screens. There's one in my office, 55-inch 4K. It even looks fine on that. I didn't think it was going to look that great on the 4K. The past week we've been playing some games out there on it, especially Odyssey, and it looks great. I'm actually surprised. I didn't think it was going to look that good on 4K, upscaling 1080p or 900p or whatever it is. Looks great. So I'm like, it has everything it needs for the potential, but I need the content. Like right now, we're talking about it's my favorite because Breath of the Wild is just like with Darren, it's my favorite Zelda game of all time, hands down. Nothing comes close. Not even Zelda 2, which people are gonna scoff, but I've said this before. Zelda 2 was my favorite Zelda game. So for that to hold on as my favorite Zelda game when I was that ingrained in the Zelda stuff, and then to hold on all these years and finally a game just destroys it. That lets you know how far Breath of the Wild is for me ahead of any other Zelda game before it. But even then, even having my favorite game of all time, even having one of my favorite Mario games, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle now becoming one of my favorite strategy games. All this stuff it has going for it, it's still one of those, okay, but I can probably name all the games I like on the system. Not like all the games that I love, at least, probably with my hands and my toes.
Right.
So I can't be my favorite system of all time when I can go off and rattle to you 200 plus games on SNES that I absolutely love and adore and would play any day of the week.
I mean, I definitely get where you're coming from, and that's why I said it's not by a large margin. It is. I mean, it is razor thin edge.
Well, that's why I always make the argument it shouldn't be by any margin right now because we're projecting it's going to continue to deliver the way it has.
True.
For all we know, Prime Force sucks. For all we know, Pokemon on Switch ends up being the biggest disappointment in Pokemon history. For all we know, we never get Animal Crossing. For all we know, third-party support drops. Well, I'm just saying, for all we know, third-party support drops off after this year.
No,
because now we're working towards PlayStation 5.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much we don't know. For all we know, Nintendo Labo ends up becoming the future.
Right.
They start focusing more on casual experiences. We don't know what the future of Switch really is. We know there's some games coming out. We know there's games that we're still interested in. But we don't really know where this platform is going to be 3 years from now.
Right.
So that's why when I'm like, it has everything set up for me to become my favorite, and I am loving it and have never been more enthused to be a Nintendo fan than I am right now, a Nintendo enthusiast than I am right now, besides the SNES era. But they're even forgetting the SNES era, the N64 era, the Game Boy era, can't forget Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Right.
DS, even 3DS, like all of these platforms had these vast libraries of content that I absolutely love. The Switch can't even take a sniff at now.
Right.
And that's obviously...
All right, Nate. You know what? You want to play that game? You want to play that game?
Yeah.
My favorite platform is PC because I can play every
There we
game
go.
There you go.
There we go. Oh, well, that's what I'm saying. Like even, emulators and all that stuff, that's great. But, like, I've been a PC gamer since the 90s. I've been a PC gamer almost as long as I've been a Nintendo gamer. And I don't know if PC is my favorite platform. Like, I still think SNES was my favorite game console. PC was probably my favorite platform, quote unquote, just because games I owned back then, I can still run on it today. Return to Zork, I can still play that today on my computer, and I could in the 90s.
Lords of the Realm you can't get to play for some odd reason.
I'll get it to work. I actually think I figured out what it is. There's a patch I have to do to one of the things in the registry. That's the beauty of like when you're playing old school games on like Windows 10. Sometimes you got to do some stuff, but whatever, it can run.
Right.
That's the point. I don't have to buy new hardware.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why PC has kind of always been like the platform that's persisted the most. Right. Like I've owned every Nintendo platform, but I didn't play Nintendo platforms every day. I am always on my PC every day, usually playing a game at some point during the day. And so PC's kind of always been kind of that lingering, oh yeah, that's always my default favorite, but I just don't really talk about it. But Switch has kind of changed things up. Not just because of what I do here on YouTube. Set aside my YouTube stuff. I play my Switch every day. It used to be to record footage for YouTube. But now that I do this on-camera stuff and I don't have to record footage, I'm still playing it every day. I didn't think I was going to keep playing it every day after I didn't need to record footage anymore or didn't need to record as much. No, I am almost playing it even more now because I don't feel like I'm obligated to do it for my job. I'm just doing it because I want to. The Switch has actually left the dock now. It comes with me to
My
play.
Switch still has yet to touch the dock.
Because I used to only play in Dodge mode because I'm always recording footage.
Right.
Or I'm always live streaming. And now, like, you've even probably seen it out here a couple times where I had it sitting down.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I have it in my office in case I need to do something. But if I'm at my office, it's still with me. Well, sometimes. I got to be careful with my kids at times.
Right.
But either way, it's become this thing where it is the video game system that I am now playing on the most. Hands down the most today, as of this day in 2018. And it's been that way for probably a good 6 months or so, if not longer. Probably since the system came out, because I was so into Breath of the Wild. So I don't think I can even remember the last day I did not pick up and play my Switch. Probably today. And the only reason that I didn't get a chance to play that is because podcast night.
Yes.
Otherwise, I probably would be playing it a little bit while I'm trying to figure out what video I'm going to make. Maybe I even did, because you know what? Did I live streamed last night? Did I play any gameplay past midnight? I can't remember. I guess I'll have to go on my someone go on right now and check. Hey, he says he's played every day. Like, he says he hasn't turned on his Switch in 2 days. Yeah, and I'm like, shut up.
You did play a game yesterday.
Yeah, I know yesterday, but today. Today, I'm not so sure if I turned on my Switch today.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of think I was with my kids all day, so I might not have had a chance to do it. But yeah, it's just a interesting thing where I feel like Switch has the potential to be everything I want it to be, but I haven't had a Nintendo system be everything I want it to be since the 90s. And while it has everything in place to do it until it gets there, I can't say it's my favorite.
Understandable.
Not right now.
Well, one thing I'll say is that if you remember back in the 90s and everything, during the console wars of Sega and Nintendo, Sega's biggest problem and their defeat ultimately was just always constantly just, releasing consoles, releasing new hardware to the masses. And that's really what killed them in the end, because they just had too much stuff out there. Like, people didn't know, okay, now I got the Genesis. Okay, now I got the 3DO. Now let me get the Sega CD. Okay, now let me go get that Saturn. Let me go get that Dreamcast. It's like too much stuff at one time. And, Nintendo kind of played it smart by, releasing their major stuff, the NES, Super NES, N64, GameCube, etc., all the way to Switch over time. And I think that they're smart in that they kind of see where the market's going and they kind of capitalize on it as they can. With the mistake of the Wii U, that's probably our only biggest misstep, and cough, Virtual Boy. But other than that, I think that they've done a really, really awesome job. So I think that I do agree with you, Nate. I think that we have to kind of see where the Switch is going to go. For me personally, it's on par with every other system as far as I'm concerned. I don't care about graphical fidelity and everything. I mean, I own the Xbox One X, but what do I play on the Xbox One X? I'll play Tomb Raider on it. I'll play Final Fantasy 15, and I'll play Forza. And I have some other games, but they're mostly, I played it because I want to play stuff in 4K on my 4K TV, because I love the way that it looks and I love the frame rates and stuff. But if I'm playing Doom on my Nintendo Switch, I don't care if it's 30 FPS. I just like the fact that I can sit down in my office at college and I can just play my game on my lunch break. I like the fact that I can, sit in my car while waiting for my car to warm up in the wintertime, and I can play Doom or play whatever other game. I can't do that anywhere else. And I think that that's the beauty of the Switch at the end of the day.
For sure. Nate actually had to step out for just a little bit. Actually, I'm going to take and actually answer the actual topic here. And the reason why I think, Switch is the best selling console in US history. It's right now, it's the best of both worlds. It is, you can have your games on your dock, on your TV, and then you can take them, pick it up, and take it right on the go. And then, of course, like you said, the marketing has just been absolutely brilliant. And then pair that with the shortage, I think that actually helped. Not intentionally, but I think it did. Help drive the want for it. But touching on that marketing, if you look at the Wii and the Switch, the marketing was absolutely brilliant for those two. You got the Wii with the Wii would like to play. It's a game console for you and your friends. You get to the Wii U, it's kind of like, Wii U, what? Is it me? Is it you? Is it who? We what? And then now you get to the Switch, where it's literally, you can switch between portable and docked mode, and it makes perfect sense. I don't know if you guys have any things to go off of that, or
it makes perfect sense. I mean, the marketing is definitely key. I mean, you bring up the Wii U as an example of bad Nintendo marketing, and I wholeheartedly agree, and I assume most everyone agrees with that. Clear marketing is key here. At Nintendo Switch, it's implied in the name. Oh, you can switch your style of play. You can play it on your TV. You can play it as a handheld. You can set it down on the table, take the controllers off, play it that way. You can give one to a friend. There's just so many different ways of play. You can stick the controllers into a couple pieces of cardboard and make an RC.
There you go.
It's just an amazing system. Great marketing. I think Nintendo's marketing team deserves a pat on the back for that. Definitely something they learned from the Wii U era. And just learning from the mistakes and okay, what made the Wii successful. And I think there's this overwhelming feeling of Nintendo's back. I mean, even when the Wii U was failing, still was the 3DS that was selling a lot and making money, and still actually has an incredible active install base, which blows my mind because here we have the Switch and the 3DS is still selling. I believe I read somewhere that this December the 3DS had its best December for sales since December of 2014, which is great, and I think that has to do with Pokemon a little bit. But marketing's key because you look at the Wii U box and it's like, oh, you see the handheld portion of it, you see the gamepad, which now everyone likens to a Fisher Price toy because it is a plastic piece of crap. I mean, when I first got the Wii, I was like, oh, this is awesome. This gamepad, best controller ever. Now I look back at it after holding my beautiful Switch. It's like, this isn't really that great. But, you look at the Wii U box and it was just a gamepad. It's like, okay, what a parent would walk up to that and be like, what is this? Come on. What is this? Is it an attachment for the Wii? Why do I need another Wii? I've heard that before,
Oh,
too.
yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
I don't know how many times people are getting confused if it, between the Wii and the Wii U. It was just kind of like, oh, I can buy this to play with my Wii, right? No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you can't.
No, you can't. And people would think that. And now, I mean, Nintendo's marketing is so clear. I mean, with the reveal trailer for the Switch, there were rumors of, oh, this is going to be a hybrid console. But when I refreshed Nintendo's YouTube page the night they revealed it, and I saw the title of the video and the logo, Nintendo Switch. The words rang together so well, and I thought, oh my goodness, they've done it. They made a hybrid console. I mean, the messaging is so clear, even from those two words, the name Switch. Every commercial you see about the Switch just explains it so perfectly. You see it docked, you see it taken out. On some occasions, you see the controllers taken off, the Joy-Con. It's so clear. And parents see that, kids see that, and they just understand it as opposed to the Wii U. We keep going back using that as an example of bad marketing, and now the Wii and Nintendo Switch as examples of good marketing.
Absolutely. I remember I think Wii U came out in 2012, correct?
I believe that's correct, yeah.
It sounds about right.
Yeah, so I started doing retail in 2013 at the end of it. And I remember during that year, I forget what game came out during the holiday time for the Wii U. But a lot of people just glanced over and they were like, oh, I can just use this with my Wii, right? And I was like, no. And then they were like, oh, well, I can take, my I had a lot of people try to return Wii U games because they couldn't play it on their Wii. But they say, well, it says Wii in the title. Why can't I play it? Like my Wii won't play it. And that's one thing. If you look at some of the marketing for the Nintendo 3DS, for the new Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo started to put on the packaging for like Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. It says like only playable on new Nintendo 3DS or something like that. They were clear, precise on what can and what cannot be played on the system. And they didn't do that at all with the Wii U. And I think that their strategy is a lot better and their focus is a lot better. And as a result of that, I think that they're going to make their 30 million mark this year, maybe even more. We don't know yet. It's only the third week in January, but I think that they're going to make that mark.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And I just looked it up. The Wii did come out in 2012.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
but yeah, definitely people thought they were going to be able to play Wii U games on their Wii, or at least, parents that were going to the store bought this game. I would try to explain to people. They'd be like, why do I need a Wii U to play these new Nintendo games? And I'm like, well, because it's the newest system. These games are made for the system. And they're like, well, apart from visuals, what's different? I'm like, well, you can play it on a big tablet if you wanted. And they just kind of look at me and be like, right. Well, can I take the tablet places? And I'm like, not very far, or else it's going to cut out. I couldn't really go downstairs and play my Wii U on the gamepad, or else it would cut out. I tried a few times, and usually I'd be unsuccessful. So there was a lot of confusion.
Absolutely. I even could tell you horror stories of parents coming in saying, oh my God, my child broke their gamepad. And, you can't just once go into a store and just buy another one. You have to go directly through Nintendo to get it fixed or whatever. So, that was one thing, trying to market something like that. It would have been better. Okay, I'm going to say this. Star Fox Zero, it's sad to say, but I just couldn't complete that game. I got all the way to the end to Andros. I just can't beat Andros, y'all. I hate motion controls like that. I couldn't aim, and I cannot look down and then try to, to aim and then move at the same time. That's why I think Miyamoto said something about being like a 2-player mode or something. And, one person can aim while the other person controls the thing. I don't want to do that. I just want to just play the game as if it was a normal, control scheme and just enjoy Star Fox. And I still have that game to this date. I'm sorry. It is going to continue to collect dust because I cannot stand the gamepad in that regard. And that's what ended it for me. I was like, nope, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I think the next game that I got was around that time. I think it was the Twilight Princess HD. It was around about the same time. And then I just stopped playing anything on the Wii. I was just like, nope. And then when I saw that the Switch was coming out, I was like, oh, Zelda's coming out for it. I'm just going to skip Zelda on Wii. I'm just going to get it on Switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And games are definitely a part of it too. I'll be clear. There are some good games on Wii U. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is revered as one of the best 2D platformers of all time. You had Hyrule Warriors first released on there. That sold a lot. That was successful.
Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart 8. That people love that game. So there are some gems on Wii U, but because the system was failing, they just didn't get the love and respect that they deserve. But as far as other games on Wii U, you mentioned Star Fox Zero. That was received very poorly. There were a lot of other Wii U titles that people just did not like, with weird control schemes or just poor development. But on Switch, right out of the gate, you have, bam, Breath of the Wild, making headlines, breaking records. Bam, Super Mario Odyssey gets people talking about Nintendo again. So it's definitely not just the marketing, but the games as well. You have all this hype generated around Breath of the Wild, and when you saw Breath of the Wild got the Game of the Year award at the Game Awards, you saw the Wii U logo up there next to the Switch logo, and it's like, oh yeah, that game released on Wii U too. That's funny.
Oh yeah, technically it is a Wii U game. Oh yeah.
Technically, it was started development as a Wii U game.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show you the Wii U has good games.
Oh yeah.
But the Switch has better games, in my opinion, so far. We're not even a year into it, but Breath of the Wild looks better, feels better on Switch. You can take it on the go. Super Mario Odyssey, I have enjoyed more than any other game on Wii, which is great. And then you have Doom. I've been playing Doom for the first time on Switch. You have third-party support that the Wii U lacked. I picked up Doom the other day, or not the other day. When I first picked up Doom like a month ago, I said, "Yeah, I've been playing Doom." To my friend, and he's like, on what system? Because I currently don't own a PS4 or Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying a PS4 this weekend, but I said on my Switch, and he's like, Doom's on the Switch? He's like, you mean like the original Doom? They And I'm like, no, the Doom 2016 that just came out. It's awesome. And it's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start playing Skyrim next. He's like, I didn't know that Nintendo had these games on there.
Mhm.
So, maybe now he'll buy a Switch, because before he criticized my decision for buying a Switch because, like, oh, there's just games like Zelda and Mario
Mhm.
on there, right? And I'm like, yeah, but those are good games. But now that he's found out, oh, Wolfenstein 2 is coming to the Switch, I can play NBA on Switch.
Right.
So, it's definitely not just the marketing, but the games that play a big part of it too. The whole mantra of Nintendo's back in the game. The headlines as far as Switch breaking record sales. I see a lot of tech outlets, to name a few, like Gizmodo, Polygon, Kotaku, and others that people follow, saying, oh, this is the console right now.
Mhm.
Switch is, great. Switch is, you need to own this because this is why. And I think that is great that, outlets and fans are doing some of Nintendo's marketing for them, being like, hey, this is what's hot right now. You should totally pick this up. You should buy this for yourself. You should buy this for your kids. It's just appeals to all ages. Whereas the Wii U, it was trying to figure out, okay, who is this appealing to? Nintendo wanted it to appeal to hardcore gamers, but it obviously didn't.
Mhm.
The Wii U's audience was scattered all over the place.
Mhm. Mhm.
Switch, the audience seems to be, the quote unquote lapsed gamers who haven't bought a Nintendo system since the N64 or the Wii.
Right.
Those were lost in the past couple console generations, or those who haven't really played Nintendo, but now they have the opportunity to. We saw, hardcore gamers getting into the Switch in these first 9 months, and kids are starting to as well. Not that they haven't from the beginning, but more so now, and especially with the announcement of Nintendo Labo, and who knows what else Nintendo has in
Mhm.
mind for kids
Mhm.
down the line. But Switch is a console in a sense for adults where, life is hectic. But guess what? If you're playing Breath of the Wild at home and you need to go, just take the Switch out.
Right.
You can take it with you now. You can play it on your lunch break,
Mhm.
as Brandon does. You can play it, in the car when it's warming up, when you're waiting for your wife to get out of her doctor's appointment,
Yeah.
So definitely better marketing, better games, in my opinion. It's just astonishing how Nintendo got this right. As I said earlier, it's great to be a Nintendo fan.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
great to be a Nintendo fan right now. It wasn't really great 2 years ago,
Mhm.
but all of the speculation leading up to Switch, I felt like I was setting myself up for a fall. This is getting so hyped up. Nintendo hasn't even announced it yet, but people are already speculating, oh, this is going to be so great. It's going to be a hybrid console. We're going to have great games on it. And I'm like, are we really though? What makes you think that? Well, here we are, 10 months into the system's life cycle. We're approaching the 1 year mark in March,
Mhm.
and it's great to be a Nintendo fan. Nintendo's back in the news. Nintendo is, a welcome force in gaming again. Definitely. Even Sony, I believe it was Sony who said, we can't ignore the success of the Nintendo Switch.
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm not going to speculate on what that means, as far as a new Sony handheld or whatever. But, Nintendo is raising eyebrows all over the industry and with consumers. And that's something that personally I missed with the Wii U. I missed being able to say, oh yeah, I own that cool new Nintendo console, the Wii U. If I said that, people would look at me like, you own a Wii U? Like, what are you doing, man? Get a PS4 like me, or an Xbox One, or jump on PC and play with me. Not that those consoles aren't great, because they have good games, they have good sales,
Mhm.
but now I can say, oh yeah, that new Nintendo console that everyone got for Christmas, that's breaking records. Yeah, I have that. It's really cool. You should come over and try it with me sometime. I can split the Joy-Con off. Just the other day, I was at a friend's house and they were playing Mario Kart on Wii, and I said, man, I should get you guys into Mario Kart 8. I should come over and we can play that. And he said, well, how are we going to do that?
Mhm.
The only Nintendo system we have here is a Wii. And I'm like, no, I can just bring it over and we can split the Joy-Cons off and I can give one to you and I can use one.
Yeah.
it blew his mind. He's like, really? You can do that? I'm like, yeah. I'll just bring it over here. We'll set it on the desk here, and we'll be able to play a couple rounds.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So, I mean, it's just, I'm so overjoyed that Nintendo has found the right formula that makes the Switch such a success. Such a success. And I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm just enjoying
the moment
here and now.
Yes.
Enjoying the moment here and now where everyone's talking about it on social media. Everyone's in love with it. You know, there are a couple naysayers here. Oh, Switch doesn't have any games in 2018. Well, it's a January.
Yeah, right. It's January. We're only, 18 days into 18?
Yeah, this is January. We still have, you know, future directs rumored. There's a February direct that's rumored to happen. You know, we just got the Nintendo Labo announcement. We got some Wii U ports coming over, you know, for Q1 of 2018. And of course, we have E3. Who knows what Nintendo's big holiday game is going to be? We have no idea. Could be Animal Crossing, could be Metroid, could be Pokemon. Who knows? So I'm just excited.
Yeah, right.
I'm just excited to see how Nintendo is going to keep this momentum going, because that's honestly, you know, what they need to do now. They've proven that the Switch is successful. The Switch works. People like the Switch. It's making headlines, but is it going to continue doing that?
Right.
And honestly, that's what Nate was talking about. That we're only 10 months into the Switch's life cycle. You know, I'm kind of jumping the gun here, being like, oh, yeah, Switch is my favorite console of all time now. That just goes to show how amazing of a console it is.
Right.
But can it keep it going? Can it keep this? Can good marketing and reputation sustain this system? No, you need good games to go along with it. And hopefully Nintendo will keep providing that.
Right. That's just like with let's see, with Sony PlayStation, you know, they have maintained their momentum for, I think PS4 came out in 2013. They maintained that momentum for the past, you know, 4 or 5 years now. How have they done it? They have done it by word of mouth, by social media, by having all the exclusive games, etc. ad infinitum. And Nintendo, you know, with their handheld market, with the 3DS, along with now with the Nintendo Switch being both a handheld and a home console, being a hybrid console, it's like, you know, you were saying earlier, Darren, like, you know, Sony, I'm not saying that they're scared or whatever, but, you know, Nintendo's is now taking a chunk of their pie that, you know, that is no longer, you know, it's not just Xbox and Sony PlayStation, you know, fighting over 4K resolution and console wars like that. Now it's like, okay, we have the little guy out here, the underdog, as people have said about Nintendo in the past. You know, they're now coming. They've made a comeback. They have their second win, and now they're actually bringing over a slew of games, and then all the other games that is in development. Like, one thing I'll say is that's so interesting to me, just switch gears for just a second, is the announcement that got me also excited for the Nintendo Switch. I believe this was in January when they had the actual presentation in Japan that was translated to us.
Right.
To me, the most exciting game to me, aside from the Nintendo first party titles, was Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now, we didn't know that it was that game at the time because it was just a tentative title. But when I saw Atlas there, I was like, okay, they're giving us something. And then I saw all of the characters that is in the Shin Megami Tensei series. Then it showed Odin. If you played 4 Apocalypse, you know what I'm talking about, Odin, that character. I was like, okay, this has got me really excited because that's really for the core audience. You know, those games are very, very mature. And they talk about, you know, a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff and different various things from religious beliefs and whatnot. But it's fun to play. It's a turn-based RPG. And I got really excited for that. So for me personally as a gamer, I'm like, okay, I got to have my Switch if I don't have nothing else just to play this game. Because one of the reasons why I got Nintendo 3DS, aside from wanting to play Pokemon games, was because of the Shin Megami Tensei games, because I'm a big Persona fan. And it's weird because I pray that we get like a Persona 5 or something, because that's only been on Sony consoles. You know, the Persona series has only been on Sony consoles, while as the Megaten series have only been on Nintendo consoles way back in the Super Nintendo and NES era. So I hope that that we do get that, because that would be interesting to see, you know, kind of, you know, hence the word Nintendo Switch, the switch from, you know, big time Sony over to Nintendo platforms. That would be interesting to see that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just something that plays into the success of the Switch more, is the fact that there's that game out there for everyone that's going to make them want a Switch.
Mhm.
For me, it was Breath of the Wild. For some people, it was Odyssey. For you, it was Shin Megami Tensei. Probably butchered that name.
Oh no, you said it good. You said it good.
Okay, good.
I had to kind of look it up at first. I was like, how do you say this? Hey, one of my friends at my job at my college, it was like, okay, Brandon, you playing that Megaten game again? Because I don't know how to say Shin Megami, whatever you're saying. And I said, just call it Megaten. It's fine.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, there's games for everyone on there. You know, you got your big adventure game, Zelda, that was making. You got your Mario game. You know, everyone's saying, "Oh, Mario's back. I want to play Mario." You got your first-person shooter there with Doom, and of course, everyone loves Skyrim. Skyrim's on there. I'm just playing that for the first time, blowing my mind. Love it. Absolutely love it. Can see where Breath of the Wild drew a lot of inspiration from that. You know, and then the indie scene. I said in the last podcast that indies are getting the love and respect they deserve on Switch. You know, they release on Steam, but so many games release on Steam.
Right.
And, you know, the Meat team for Super Meat Boy, they were saying, man, these debut Switch sales for Super Meat Boy are very close to the debut sales all those years ago on Xbox 360. So, you know, you got your AAA games, you got your AAA third-party games, you got your indies, you know, you got your JRPGs, first-person shooters, adventure games, open-world games, you know, your little bullet hell shooter games, and more to come. You know, we have more shooters like Wolfenstein on the horizon, more adventure games, hopefully. You know, we just got Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and more indie games release on Switch every single day, it seems like. You know, every week there's more games to play on Switch. I'm not a huge indie fan, but I do have indie games on Switch. Escapist 2, great game. Played the first one, loved it. Kingdom New Lands, played that, love it. You know, you've got Blaster Master Zero on there. You've got just a whole slew of indie games on there. And that's another thing that's played into the success of the Switch, is just the variety of games out there that's for everyone. You didn't really have that with the Wii U.
Right. What I really love about the indie scene is the one publisher or developer that I believe that has put out, I believe, the most physical copies of indie games that I have anyway. I have 5 of them, and then also digital copies is Nicalis. You know, they're the people that made Super Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac, etc. I really, really, really enjoy their games. I was playing It'll Do 2 for the first time earlier this afternoon, or earlier in the day today, and I was like, this is just like Zelda. Like, this reminded me of like Link Between Worlds, aside from the painting mechanic where you go between the paintings, but it reminded me of old school top-down Zelda when I played it. Cave Story is another one it was like a Metroid type of a game. There's Tiny Barbarian DX. The End Is Nigh. You know, End Is Nigh is sort of kind of like Super Meat Boy, but a little bit different. It's punishing, you know, platforming. But just naming those 5 games, you know, they're really, really, you know, strong with the Nintendo Switch. Like, you have the physical copies, they'll come with so much stuff packed in and everything. I wish Nintendo would do that. You know, that's kind of one thing that kind of made me cry a little bit when I got Breath of the Wild. I was like, okay, cool. I guess I'm gonna get like a little, you know, instruction booklet or whatever. Nope, you open that junk up. Nope, you just got the cartridge. You see Link in the back. You see Link in the background climbing on the little mountain or whatever. You know, that's all you get. But you open up, you know, these independent games from Nicalis, and they have like loads of, you know, content past just the physical cartridge, and it's only the games are the most priced one is like $30. You know, it's nothing. So I'm really impressed with that. I hope that in the future that more independent games will get more of the limelight and get physical copies, and that Nintendo will fix the quote unquote Switch tax that is, really bad right now, where you have like a game that'll come out on the other guys' consoles and we get it, and then it's like $10 more or whatever because they just have to
Switch
they have
tax.
to cut back on the manufacturing costs, and I can understand that.
Right. No, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I'm definitely in that camp of liking the manuals and old school manuals in the game boxes. But I mean, that's another thing that I just love about the Switch is the fact that cartridges are back. I like being able to display all my game cases on my shelf. Even if I didn't like it, even if I bought a game and didn't really like it or play it that much, it's still up there. I still bought it. It's still with my growing collection. And I do have digital games that are digital only. But I definitely hope more indies jump on the physical train. Like Shovel Knight, I would really like to buy that game on Switch. I'm kind of holding out for a physical release because Yacht Club Games said maybe Treasure Trove will release as a physical cartridge.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be awesome because I played that game on 3DS and PC, and I would like to take a stab at the other campaigns, and Switch seems like the perfect platform to do it.
Yeah, those games never get old. Like the whole pogo stick thing reminded me of Scrooge McDuck, NES. What was it, the DuckTales game that they came out with?
Yes.
I mean, I was like, yes, I am playing as Scrooge McDuck again, but this time I have a shovel and I am just pouncing on people like a cat or whatever. This is so awesome. So I love Shovel Knight.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, well, welcome
Eric,
back.
Have you played Shovel Knight? On
No, I
Switch?
have actually not played Shovel Knight. But
Oh man,
yeah,
you need to. You
Okay.
need to get it.
Yeah, that is something that I will need to look into. But we can welcome back Nate. So
Hey Nate.
Hello.
Everything is awesome.
yeah, right. All right.
When you're part of the Nintendo Prime team
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
and you're living your dream.
Yep.
I seriously, I
We
left,
make prime things happen.
got my son to fall asleep, came back, and I'm like, they're still talking about topic 2. What is happening?
We have good discussion, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, when I came back, like, it's funny there. You say came back. I came back to the very end of the discussion. And I'm just like, all I can hear you doing is like, yeah, I have physical games and I like buying digital games. And I was like, that's good discussion. Okay. I'm kidding. I'm sure.
So
I'm sure the discussion was great. It's just when you get to the tail end, no context. I'm like, this just sounds like Darren just being like, I'm too tired, but I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. All right. Topic 3.
Yeah, sure. I guess this last topic we're gonna make a little shorter because
potluck.
This is not going to be a 3-hour cast. I promise. I actually am going to get us signed out properly.
Yeah. Wow.
Is there anything you guys want to talk about before we get to the sign out? So whatever you want section.
I want to give a little shout out to The Escapists 2 on Switch, which is a game I think a lot of people will love because I like playing it on the big TV, but it's also a perfect handheld game. If you didn't play the original, don't worry because there's not much storyline to it. It's basically a 2D prison escape game with a lot of neat crafting systems in there. So I think you'll really enjoy it, and you should give it a try.
Very nice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I know some of there's a select few of our fan base that have actually been trying to encourage me to play it. I have to get a review done this month before I can worry about much of any other games right now. Let's see. I can't remember if there was anything else I wanted to bring up in the podcast. Besides
Animal Crossing on Switch needs to happen now.
Oh, yeah.
That was last week.
Yeah.
Besides,
I just want to reiterate that.
Right. I do want to give a sincere thank you to Be Righteous over there.
Yeah.
He is the person, for those who don't know, who provided the lovely microphones and the amazing audio quality you see and hear from us right now. For the past couple of weeks on the podcast and in other videos, you guys see me do some live streams. The Prime News Live happens with these with these mics. I don't necessarily use them in my game streams for various reasons. Of it falls off the edge of my desk, and these mics are way too nice for me to want that happening, especially when I'm doing shots and stuff like that. Like I don't need to add the risk of wrecking these mics for that. But anytime I'm going to use the green screen, these mics are bam. This is what I'm using. Including when you see like any standalone videos when I'm doing news, I'm using these microphones off camera, and they're still significantly better than a lot of other mics out there. And obviously a big thank you to everyone else who helped contribute as well, because we were able to get some new cables. What are these? The pop filters. And obviously be able to kind of jumpstart our E3 fund a little bit, because we didn't really have anything in our E3 fund, and then all of a sudden we got to jumpstart it with like an extra $100. And that really got the ball rolling, and now our E3 fund is kind of going along as well. And on top of all of that, Be Righteous is just a crazy guy over there. Yeah. He's been one of our regular super chatters, one of our regular donators for E3. On top of already, like, to me, it's like, oh man, you spend $300 on microphones for someone, like, that's it, I'm done. Yeah, that's me. That's my spending money. That's my spending money for the next like 8 months. And instead, he's like, nah, I'm gonna keep supporting you with super chats, keep supporting you with this and that. It's just really amazing. Like people like you. Who else? Mark Greenberg is another one. Who supports pretty regularly. Like Mark Greenberg even apologized. Sorry, I don't think I can support you this Friday, but I can next week. I'm like, don't put yourself in a situation where you're struggling to support us. Don't do that. Man, there's some other one. Josh Walker's another regular. I don't know. There's like a group of like 7 of you guys that really make what I can do possible. Because it's not just the support on Patreon. The Patreon support is what I always love the most, I think, out of everything, because that's a regular paycheck that comes every month. There's very little money cut out of that that goes to like Patreon, because Patreon takes a really tiny cut, but it's very minuscule in comparison to like Google. You super chat, Google takes like 30% or whatever. Wow. Yeah, it's a pretty big chunk. The donations, obviously, as well. There's little fees taken out, but it's also very, very minimal. But that's for E3.
Well,
that doesn't take care of bills.
The one guy donated, I think it was to get the $100 flight. It was like $1.20 something in fees. Yeah, I can't remember. So that just shows you how little it actually is.
The E3 fund is obviously. I set it up in a way purposefully that even if we get the 3,500, we might not have exactly 3,500. It might end up being like a couple hundred short or whatever by the end because of the fees. But even still, that's a lot better than it would be if we tried to raise all the money through super chats and all that. So there's that. But I still appreciate the super chats. I still appreciate everything else, because that's what pays my bills every month. I mean, to be honest, the money we're making this month through super chats and everything else massively outweighs AdSense revenue by a wide margin. It also doesn't help that every video I have put up in the month of January has been claimed or demonetized.
Wow. And the one even while it was still rendering.
Yeah, the last episode of the podcast claimed while it wasn't even done rendering and processing on their end. So that was fun. And I swear, if it was because of the stupid "Make Mario Party Great Again," are you kidding me?
Yeah, right.
Oh, I saw a comment about that.
Yeah. If that's why it got flagged, are you kidding me?
Right. It's a joke and a fun play on words.
And I didn't even say "Make America Great Again."
Right, exactly.
I said "Make Mario Party." How did that trigger anything?
Right.
How are the words "great again" triggering anything with demonetization? Yeah. Those words existed before Trump, man. Come on.
Yeah, it was the word Mario.
It was the word Mario. Sorry, party.
Yep.
Party.
They
had to make sure it wasn't an alcohol party.
Don't forget make.
Never mind the fact you take shots on stream.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, the thing is, like, the streams, we don't make ad revenue off the streams anyways. I never really planned to make ad revenue off the streams. The streams are basically entirely funded by super chats and donations to E3. That's just kind of the way it is. And it's probably, I mean, I don't stream as often as I do specifically to make money. But it's been so appreciative this month because I would have to quit YouTube if it wasn't for support of people like Be Righteous over there. Because the ad revenue, I think I've made under $100 in ad rev this month because of all my videos getting claimed, and because it's January, which has lower ad revenue anyways because it's resetting all the ads from the holiday, and it takes a while before things start picking up. Like Nintendo's going to start putting out more ads for Nintendo Labo coming up. We're going to get some of those ads. But that stuff's not here yet. So I really have to, I mean, sincerely, not just for the mics, just thank you, Engender Be Righteous, and our other supporters out there, because through the Patreon, through the Super Chats, and hopefully us going to E3 this year, that's all because of you guys. It supports me, it supports my family with 3 children, and my fiance, who I've talked about before, is battling depression, which is why she has a hard time helping contribute to pay bills, because she just can't hold down a full-time job. She just can't do it. She can't do it. It's not her fault. I have a hard time at times remembering it's not her fault because sometimes you get frustrated with the bills and you wonder, what more can I possibly do? Look at this, is how much money I have coming in. How is this not enough? But when you got a family of 3 and a fiance, that's just it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. You're supporting a group of 5 on what we do here at YouTube. Obviously, I do have another job. I'm not dumb, guys. Obviously, I don't just work here. I couldn't do this without having another job, so I have another job. But because of support like what Be Righteous and Mark Greenberg and everyone else has been giving through super chats, through donations, through whatever, raising money for these microphones, that has enabled me not to have to basically cut back here to have to get a different full-time job on top. Because I don't know what I would do if I had to work 40 hours a week somewhere else and still try to keep this YouTube channel going. Yeah. We'd probably still have the podcast. But besides that, I don't know how much more time my fiance would allow me to have, because she'd not want to, depression. She doesn't want the kids. As soon as I get back from my 40-hour week job, that's it. She ain't touching the kids anymore. So it's kind of one of those things where that's also another reason why I like being home, because of her depression. Like, I make my own hours. Yeah. So like I can fluctuate depending on her needs and the kids' needs. And I can only pull this off because of you guys. And I'm hoping to continue to, I don't know if I'm going to continue to get this kind of support, or maybe I'll get better support in the future. I don't know. But I want to thank everyone out there. I want to thank our listeners as well. I'll always say this, the best way to show support is just to like our videos, share them, subscribe, get the word out. We've had a lot of people in the past mention, you guys should have a lot more viewers than you have, a lot more subscribers than you have. Well, the best way to do that is to share our content, like our videos, and get people involved. Share it on other social media platforms. I think this is one of the best Nintendo podcasts there is, and I know I have bias, but I actually listen to a lot of them, and they all provide their own unique stuff, and so do we. So I really hope that other people agree. I guess my topic for this whatever is just thank you guys so much. I'm hoping that this kind of support can continue, because if I keep getting this kind of support, we're gonna have a future here on YouTube and on Patreon, etc. Such a cool future that I want to tease something that I'm going to be considering for next week.
Oh boy.
And this is what might make some of you guys really want to get involved on Patreon. I don't know what level tier this is going to be yet, but someone made a suggestion to me through email, and I was reading it when I was upstairs waiting for my son to fall asleep. They suggested that, because there's people who want to support us that are willing to do like the $20 tier, but like they can't do our schedule, right? They just don't have time, don't have availability, but they still really, really want to support us. So they don't want to knock down a tier. They don't want to go all the way up to the $100 support tier, because they just can't afford that. Right. So like, can you have a tier that's maybe between the 20 and that, or maybe just another $20 tier? And what they are suggesting we do, and I'm going to look into trying to figure this out, is the nights that we record the podcast, instead of doing, we can still do the normal early access on Sundays, but it said instead of doing anything crazy, have a tier that's like $30, and people can pay that to come listen and or watch the podcast being recorded live. Huh.
Excellent.
And I just sat there, I'm like, that is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Not only because here's the thing, Patreon allows us to do exclusive live streams from the YouTube platform on there that only the patrons of that tier can see. So that thing already exists. Like there's the ability to do that exists. I already have the mixer that mixes all of our audio in anyways. So even if that ends up not being what the final audio sounds like, they still get to hear it live. Right. They're going to still see you and me on camera. If other people are going to be on camera, that's fine. That's our YouTube release version. Right. And our audio only version would still be early on Sunday. And on top of this solves one other issue that's really nice for me. Sometimes, when we're done recording, we have like an 11 to 15 gig file.
Right.
I downsize it a little bit, then I zip it up and I send it off. And sometimes I have issues because I forget to delete things on my Google Drive.
Yeah.
I really should be spending the $5 and getting like the 200 gig Google Drive instead of using the 50, but whatever. And when that happens, it doesn't tell you that until after you just spent 8 hours uploading the file over a 5 megabyte upload. Thanks, Charter.
Yeah.
And what sucks about that is that also takes away half a work day. So this is actually cool because depending on we're still going to record a separate video, but depending on the quality of the live stream, I can actually just ship off the live stream footage to our editor.
Yeah.
You can just download it right off YouTube.
Yeah.
1080p, 60 FPS.
So you're telling me that people are going to be able to hear my bad Nintendo opinions live?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Now, here's the thing. If we do this, because this is like, why didn't I think about this before?
Right.
If we do this, obviously, first off, we have to have people at that tier for it to matter. And two, we are not going to be, responding to any chats.
Right.
Because we're not. This is a podcast. We're not here to look at. There really shouldn't be any chats because it's not public. It's only private. But if there's people like talking on Discord or talking even on Patreon as it's going on and responding to the topic, like that's great. We'll read your commentary after the fact. Right. But like we're still going to consider this a pre-recorded podcast. You're just seeing things live. And it actually might make things easier for us too. Yep. So I want to thank whoever it was that sent that in. I don't want to read off your email address or anything in case you don't want people to know. But thanks. That's an awesome idea. Yeah. In fact, because we're obviously not doing that this week, if you're interested in something like that, let me know down in the comments. Yeah. I would have one person interested, and let me know like what monetary amount. Like this person mentioned, they might be willing to pay up to $50. That might be a little extreme. Right. I mean, I'm okay if people are willing to pay $50. We'll charge $50. Yeah. But I was thinking more like $30, or maybe have it as an alternate $20 tier, where you can't be on, but you can still listen to it live. Right. And just maybe add that as a general perk to everyone at the $20 tier, but just there's the tier where you could be on the podcast, or I don't know. I guess that adds an extra perk though, so it probably almost has to be a different tier, like a $25 or $30 tier, whatever the case.
I think that'll actually draw more Patreon people into it by actually allowing it to be the same amount of money, but yet then letting them only be able to listen. I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, the way the person suggested doing it was, we do it on Discord and they just come on and they're just muted. And I'm not doing that method because the more people we add into the Discord server chat, the more unstable it can sometimes become. Right. And then we have to worry about the audio quality on this. So, but the fact that we can do a live stream off of Google to it is great. Now, granted, technically it's 30-second delay, so it's not really live for you guys, but whatever. You know what I mean? Enough. It's pretty dang close. So yeah, I actually think that is something I'm going to explore here. Might even run a little test run with it with current patrons, not necessarily on the podcast, but just something. Whatever. Cool. We'll do a little pre-test run over the weekend or something, just see, hey, does this actually work? So if it works, then yeah, you guys just let me know. What are you interested in? What monetary value? Do you want it to be at the $20 like our other one? Do you want it a little bit cheaper at $15? Do you want it at maybe $25? The only reason I keep saying that is like, even though Beauty Righteous is right, that having it at the same tier is really nice. I don't know, like giving that $20 tier the ability to be on a podcast and or listen to the podcast live. That's a lot to give at the $20 tier. So I don't know. And having two separate $20 tiers feels weird. Right. Because every tier that we have is a progressive tier. Like, you get this tier, you get all the benefits of the prior tier as well. Right.
And this is just a spitballed idea, but maybe if you do combine them, just make it a $30 tier instead of a $20 tier. Like, if you do include like listening to it as be on the podcast or even a $25.
You know what I think I might do? Because we have people who, and this is going to suck for people like Beauty Righteous. Yeah, right. What I was actually thinking is, because we have a lot of people at the $20 tier that just want to give us $20. Right. Can't be on.
True.
What if
You make that
And
up.
you know what? Be Righteous is on. This is an idea I'll throw at him. Even what if I made it so the Beyond the Podcast tier is the $30 tier, and then the $20 tier is listen in live. Because I think we're gonna have a lot more people interested in that $20 tier than the $30 tier, anyways. And right now we're only averaging like 1 or 2 people who actually can make it every month.
Right.
I have no problem with that at all.
Yeah, because then like the people at the $20 tier that can't make it, they'll just stay at that tier until they know there's a month they can make it, and then they'll just bump themselves up, and they'll still get to listen to the podcast live if they want to.
Yep, that works.
I think that because like I know it sucks for for other people. But that sounds like a nice idea.
I think with one stipulation, if there's somebody right now in the $20 tier that has not been on a podcast,
of course,
they would actually get an opportunity without having to go up to the 30.
Yeah, obviously, that's a given.
Right.
We're not going to screw over people who have already paid.
Right.
That's not. We don't do that here. If you have already paid and haven't been on yet, we will try to get you on.
I mean, even when it splits off. I mean, even when it splits off to the $30 tier.
But this also gives all those people one. I know we have more people interested in the $20 tier. 2, there's a lot of people that probably because our most popular tier is the $5 tier. We have
listening to it early.
Yeah, listening to the podcast a day early. So all those people are doing that $5 tier because they want that early access. And early access to a full video live stream of the whole thing as it's happening.
Right. That's
insane. I don't even know too many places that even do that.
Yeah. That you can't get much earlier than that.
No. you really can't. I mean, and it also helps differentiate it from our other podcast I want to launch later. That's a live podcast, but it's through Google Hangouts because that one's live to the whole world.
Right.
It might be a Patreon goal eventually, but it's still live to the whole world. Whereas this one, it's like that exclusive club.
Right.
Like this is our pre-recorded podcast, but you're in on the recording.
Right.
You get to go behind the scenes and see what doesn't make it into the final cut.
Right.
You'll be live and then living.
You'll get to see like when I leave because my son's knocking on the door.
Yeah.
You get to see all the stuff that there's so much that gets cut out. So it's kind of cool because that is kind of like, hey, you get the behind the scenes what's going on.
You get to see us messing with.
Is there anything else you want to bring up, Eric?
I'll let Brandon go first.
All right.
Oh yeah, sure. I just wanted to say that you're more than welcome for everything, man. I don't, have any qualms or anything. I just want you to be successful, be blessed, and continue to do what you're doing. I will say that I'm excited about the future for Nintendo Prime. I hope that everything continues to go upward and forward, and big things happen, as you said, Prime things happening. I'm really, really excited for the platform. I think you're probably the one most unique YouTuber out there as far as Nintendo things are concerned, because everybody else kind of, everybody talks about the news or, talks about, this new game has come out, whatever, but you have your own flavor to it, your own twist to it. And I think that that's really good. I will say that for all of the people that would like to support support as you can, support as much as you can. Anything that you love, anything that's worth it, anything that you enjoy, I believe that you should support in some kind of a way, even if it's no more than, as you say, liking, subscribing, sharing it on social media platforms, etc. And if you can do more, that's great. Do more. But you're more than welcome, Nate. More than welcome, Eric. Y'all are awesome. I appreciate y'all, and I hope that things continue to go well for you.
Yeah, thanks. It's just one of those things that I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We can't do this without you guys.
Right, for sure.
It's our fans are the lifeblood of this channel. I was told when I started getting serious about YouTube last year, there was some advice given to me by some YouTubers that were significantly larger than us. We're small time. We are what we are. But to do, I told them my vision and my dream. They said, that's amazing, but you have a family. How are you going to find the time? Because you're going to have to work a different job. You're not going to make that on YouTube. And I said, well, I have this background as Zelda Informer and this and that. Like, I don't know, what can I do? And they're like, well, maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll be that lucky one that diversifies their income in the right way. And the fans want, you do the content in a way that your fans want more of it and they're willing to pay for it. And that seems to be what's been happening. Whether it's people paying for me to get hammered on the live stream because they think it's hilarious and
or me to do
or fun. Or for you to do the ASMR.
ASMR, yeah. Oh God, I think I scared a bunch of people with that.
The pie in the face stuff too.
Yeah.
Or whether it's just people paying. Like the one thing I love about Patreon is that people aren't necessarily paying for us to do anything necessarily crazy. Like on the live streams when they might be paying for me and my fiance to get drunk or something like that or whatever. Like whatever, because it is fun to watch drunk people play games, obviously, and it is fun to watch my filter slowly get like less and less and less the more booze that's in me. I'm aware of it. I know I start dropping some swear words once you get like an hour and a half, 2 hours into me having shots nonstop for like 2 hours. I know what's happening. I'm consciously aware it's happening. I just stopping myself from saying certain things. But it's still what I love about the Patreon stuff too. Like, even if you just give like $1, is that you're not supporting, that extra entertainment value that happens live. You're just supporting what we already do.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying what we do right now has value to you, and you want to ensure that we can keep doing it.
Right.
And I think we've diversified in the right way. I knew right away I wanted to do Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Other YouTubers have done it. Some people are frown against it. I don't know why they frown against it. I mean, people are basically, unlike donations, Patreon is like, it's publicly tracked. I'm always going to keep the total amount we're making public. So everyone knows what we have coming out on Patreon. I'm never going to hide it. I mean, we have more coming in than I think there's other content creators bigger than us that have less money coming into their Patreon. And it's because they don't value it as much. They don't view it as, as an example. I think most people would just back us for $1 if we didn't have any bonuses, of course.
Right.
No early access, no this or that. But the thing is, the early access isn't even like a problem for us. We already have the audio version done.
Right.
That's the first thing that gets done.
Right.
The video version might take an extra day or two. So why the heck not give it to people?
Right, for sure.
And that's kind of the way we view it, as it's not creating extra work for us per se. Like even this live podcast idea might make things easier. I don't know if it's actually going to. I don't know.
Even if it does make it harder, I don't think it'll make it extremely harder.
Yeah. I mean, there is the thing where the video quality might be less. Right. And that's something I have to consider. And so we might not be able to use the stream version and the final version, but that's okay. It'll be worth it, because if people are willing to pay to see that, why wouldn't we give that to them? We're already doing it. We're already here. Yeah. Right now, we are here doing it.
Wait, I am?
Yeah. So, like, why not let people, if they really want to see it, watch? It's a very unique piece of content we do. This podcast is different than basically everything else on the channel.
Right.
Because it has multiple people in it. It's not just me.
Yeah.
It's because it has me in it.
It's got Darren back, right?
Right.
I don't know. It's just... I'm completely... I don't know if it comes across all the time, but I'm so humbled by the support. And I know, the Patreon is what makes me, like, smile a lot. I mention it a lot because of that, because, like, our super chats and stuff, it's like 5 to 7 people, the same 5 to 7 people every single week, giving a little bit of something. Sometimes a lot of something.
Yeah.
This past week, not this week, but the week before, it was a lot of something. That was a very... I was blown away by that week. We obviously weren't even close to that this week, but we still had support from basically the same people all week long. Which is probably why, because they're completely tapped out for the week before.
Yeah, right.
But it's one of those where on Patreon we're supported by, I think, 33 people right now.
Nice. Versus
the 7 that keep supporting through the chat. So it's like,
no, for sure.
It's like, man, like 30. There's 34 people out there that give a crap enough. That commit even if it's just $1 of their financial support to us. It's just, thank you guys. I've said it, I'll say it again. We would not be here without your support. If I had to rely on just the ad revenue this month, no Patreon, no nothing else, and we only had like $100 come in, I gotta quit.
Yeah.
The bottom line is I gotta quit, because my family has to come first, and I can't have a month where I make $100. So I can't really have a month where I make under 1,000 off of just YouTube alone. Yeah. But whatever. We're on our way, as they say this month.
Yeah.
We'll see if it continues. All right, last one up. Got nothing?
No,
You're good.
I'm good.
You're good.
Can I say one other thing?
Oh yeah. You could talk all you want. It's your podcast to shine, baby.
Yeah.
Well, I just got notification from Square Enix store that Lost Spear has just been shipped to me. I'll be getting it on Tuesday, and I'm probably going to be doing some gameplay footage of it. Not to plug myself or whatever, but I was just saying that because
everyone's allowed to plug themselves.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited for that game, man, and I'm hoping to have some good footage of it and everything. So if y'all want to check it out or whatever, in your own way or whatever. But I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
No, take this time to plug away.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. No, dead serious.
We do this all the time with all of our guests. We let them say, plug your YouTube, plug your Twitters, plug whatever you feel like plugging.
Yeah, it's you can follow me as BW2 Righteous on Twitter, and then YouTube channel is basically you just search for B and then space Righteous. I'm the Cuphead icon.
Yep.
Like I said, everything is very, very amateurish right now. I just started doing this like this week. I never have recorded it.
I remember I gave you some tips if I remember right
before, but I want to just do some footage of Lost Spear. I'm probably honestly going to have a whole walkthrough of it. So if y'all want to check it out, if it's something that you might want to watch or do, is probably be starting on Tuesday when I get in the mail.
Yep, and if you're watching the video version of this, we will have links to his Twitter and his YouTube in the description. If you're watching anywhere else, probably not. And I say that because I always plan to put up the stuff, and then by the time I get the file, it's like 11:30 at night, and I'm going to bed. I'm like, just get it up quick.
Yeah.
Get it up for the patrons before we hit midnight.
Yeah.
Do this. It just becomes like this last minute thing. But the YouTube one, I always make sure we get it right. So if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to go check that out in the description. Darren, you can follow him at RealDern on Twitter. Is there anything else you want to plug? Even if it's not you.
Yeah, actually, I'm not so much plug. Well, yes, actually, plug. You know what? I just want to say this one. You, Nate.
Oh, wow.
Very nice.
Last week on the podcast, you were dissing me. You're like, man, you're not going to be able to do this daily recap thing. You've been out of the game too long. Well, guess what? I only missed one day, and it wasn't because I forgot. There was other circumstances. So go. That's what I want to plug.
Oh, my.
You daily still missed a day. I told you couldn't do it every day. I knew you were going to miss a day.
.net. And I knew you could. I knew you knew, and I know you were just trying to get me to do it in your own motivational way.
Oh, I know. I know, but see, I sat back. See, here's the thing, Darren. Here's the thing. I'm glad you're so proud of yourself for completing, 6 out of 7 days or whatever it's been at this point of the daily news recap. Congratulations. For starters, I actually really appreciate it, on a serious note. But getting back into that whole, oh, really? Yeah, you had to throw the F-bomb at me, huh?
And nicely done with the buzzer, by the way.
Yeah, the buzzer was perfect. Yeah. That buzzer was perfect because I don't know if we probably would have added a sound effect if the F-bomb actually dropped.
Yeah.
That was not an edited in sound effect. I put that there myself.
Yeah. That was a custom. That was Darren all the way.
Yeah.
Making it easy on the editor.
Right.
You did miss a day, so you haven't completed doing it every day like you said you would. Now, granted, I understand why that's the case, but technicality, you didn't perform like you said you would.
You will learn very quickly that we are all about technicalities.
You missed some news on one of the recaps.
You missed the news in one of the recaps. The biggest news just wasn't even there.
What was it?
I don't even remember what it was that day, to be honest. I made 2 videos on it. I'm like, you don't even check the YouTube channel. I already made the content. I'm giving you the material. Anyways.
I've been more wary of how to check now.
Yeah. Because usually the biggest stories.
I got a couple ideas of how I want to do these going forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you can. I wanted to talk to you a bit about that too because we can add more stories in there than we are. Like the example I gave you really wasn't a great example because there was going to be more stories added to it, but I fell asleep at the keyboard. So that's just. Apparently, my forehead hit enter when I fell asleep and it went live. It wasn't actually supposed to go live yet. But yeah, we could talk more about that because I feel like those recaps are. One thing I like about our daily news recap, for those of you that don't check it out, there's a ton of Nintendo news that happens every day that we don't even cover at the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. We would be spamming your feeds like crazy if we made a video for all of it. So that's just really annoying. Other channels might do that. I know Game Explain reports on a lot of the stuff. And that's fine. That's just not my style. I'm going to pick out the stories I'm most interested in. That's what I'm going to make videos on.
Mm-hmm.
But plus, I like to have some original content. You guys know I like to have discussion videos and stuff in there as well. But the recap at the site, my goal with that was always this is your one-stop shop once a day to get all of the relevant Nintendo news there is. Because there's so many places where you can get little morsels throughout the day. You could easily miss some stuff, even on YouTube. So having like that one spot, like, look, all you gotta do is like this time every day, just go check out this post, and you have everything you need. I always felt like that would just be unique. I can't think of anywhere else that has that. You'll see that for E3, like, oh, we have an E3 daily news recap. How about just a daily news recap every day?
Right.
Like
or 6 out of 7 days.
I mean, even
sorry,
like,
Darren. Sorry, Darren.
Like even when you go to like the Spawncast site, like they have their daily news show that recaps the previous day. They still only cover like 2 or 3 stories. There's so many stories they're missing,
right?
Because they can only fit so much in a 15-minute video.
So
and that's whatever interests them too.
Stories in there, and it'll be great.
I think we'll nail up that format. But I am seriously appreciative, even though you missed today. Even though you missed some major news, I still appreciate it. I really do. Here's the thing, though, Darren. Don't get too cocky yet. It's just week 1. The first week's always easy. It's 2 months from now when you stop doing it. Then I'll be like, I told you, burnout.
Oh no.
The thing is, like, I should have faith you're not going to get burned out because you're someone that, like, I used to pump out 8 posts a day every day at Zelda Informer, but I'm like, yeah, it's been probably over a year since those days now. It's okay. We don't do that. We don't do that number of posts. I don't actually put that kind of pressure on you there, obviously. And I appreciate it. All the work you're doing. Even coming here for the podcast and giving us your time, sending us your recording. I mean, it's all volunteer work. I greatly appreciate it. I hope one day my goal at Nintendo Prime is that not only can I support my family, but I can bring other people on as well. I don't know if I could ever bring on another full-time staffer, but I would like to be like I would like to throw Martin, our editor, maybe a little something every month just for his appreciative work. Even Eric, a little something just for coming on once a week. Like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Whatever. Your time's valuable to me. Here's like $40 a week for being on the podcast. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Darren, thank you for being on. Here's $40 a week or $100 a week or whatever for doing the news recaps. Like, I know it's a little bit. It means very, very little in the grand scheme for your guys' financial success. But it's still one of those, like, I don't want people to think that I am unappreciative of all the people that help us out and make this all possible.
Well, thank you, Nate, and I'm here.
Yeah, again, I'm not saying this like Martin and Darren and Eric. Am I guaranteeing payment here? We're a long ways away from me being financially stable enough to start paying other people.
That whiteboard over there says it all. So.
Yeah, the whiteboard from the last E3 that we went through. So there's thank you guys. It's been awesome, great podcast.
Yeah.
Let me see. You can follow me at Ninty Prime. You can also follow me at Nate Jansels on both Twitter accounts. Obviously, you're at Nintendo Prime right now, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you enjoyed this podcast, if you happen to want to support us financially, patreon.com/Nintendo Prime is the best way to support us on a consistent basis every single month. I don't think there's anything else.
If you want to see us do what we do from E3, support us there too.
Oh yeah. We'll have links to support us, our E3 donation fund. I think at the time of recording, we're at $650 out of our $3,500 goal. And no, $3,500 is actually not quite exactly what we need. We actually need more.
That was a real conservative.
But that was like, this is what we will, if we get this, we're going to go. We'll figure out the rest. We appreciate if we get more than that, so we don't have to try to figure out the rest. But if we get that amount, we're going. It's happening. That's. I wanted to make sure it was the lowest amount that if we hit, we can go. Did some math. That's the lowest amount. So if you guys want to help us go to E3, because I've explained this before, we're going to E3 for you guys.
Right. No, for sure.
This isn't a pleasure trip, although that pizza.
Yeah. That alone just is a pleasure
pizza,
enough.
A $3,500 trip is worth it for, what is it? Fat tomato. For fat tomato pizza. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for all your support so we can go eat pizza.
Go eat pizza.
But we're going there to make dozens upon dozens of videos. We're going to have camera equipment, or if not camera equipment, multiple cameras that we'll be using. If we have to use our phones, we're going to have phone stands for them so we can have like Eric.
No shaky cam.
Yeah, no shaky cam, and Eric's like recording what Eric's doing when he's playing, recording what I'm doing when I'm playing. We'll go through all the footage, pick out the best stuff, the most unique stuff, get it out to you guys, try to get more interviews. And here's the thing, if we go this year, because I've been working with so many YouTubers, I'm going to be making plans with other YouTubers. We're going to make it happen. There's going to be so much content coming your way. It's going to be amazing. And on top of this, what it also helps us do is network a little bit.
Right. No, for sure.
E3 is the best place to network. I did a terrible job of it last time because I was nervous.
Yeah.
First time ever at E3.
We were just figuring it out.
I'm just like figuring things out, and Reggie Fils-Aimé walks by me, and I'm like, I never thought I'd be within 2 feet of Reggie.
And we were like, what, 4 people away from actually getting to
we almost got chosen by him to go. Bill Trinan, you brought him going to the bathroom.
If it wasn't for like these handful of people walking up at like the last second right before he came, we would have been going with Reggie.
Yeah. So like, because they asked him how long have they been waiting, like they just got there.
Yeah, right.
We've been waiting. Yeah.
Right.
But it was a very fun experience, and one that I'll never forget, and one that taught me a lot. And I also got, by the last day, I got a lot of nerves out of my system. Like Eric wanted to go say hi to Angry Joe at one point, and I was kind of like, and he was going the opposite direction.
Yeah, right.
But I'm just like, but now it's like, oh no, whatever. We're all YouTubers. Just go say hi. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, we're all people.
It just happened that
the starstruckness is kind of, I'm over it now.
Yeah, we just happened to pass him on an escalator.
And if you're a Nintendo fan, I'm sure you would understand. Like when you're 2 feet from Reggie, you're just like,
right.
like wetting your pants.
Yeah.
Or Miyamoto, or even Bill Trinan.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Now that we got all that out of our system because we went once, now it's business, and getting all the content we can get done for you guys. Heck, maybe getting some interviews with Nintendo people. I'm not going to guarantee anything yet, but I know some YouTubers that have contacts with some Nintendo people, so I'm hoping like a piggyback situation where like they kind of give us a good word.
Well, and I know you had a guy who I know used to work at Nintendo.
Oh, he doesn't work there anymore. So.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't know people.
I know. We'll see. I'll give him an email. But
you know what? If not, we interview him. Why not?
Hey, your new, completely unrelated job. Let's talk about your last job at Nintendo. What can you say? They're a great company. Have a good day.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
They fired me. Thank you.
And we've now hit the Wisconsin goodbye again.
Yeah, we did. Anyways, folks, thanks for tuning in. Keep watching Nintendo Prime because Prime things happen.